we rolling?
Good evening. The regular city council for February 16, 2017 is called to order at 7:34 p.m. Madam Clerk, the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Roll call.
Councilman Bodier?
Present.
Councilman Benton?
Present.
Councilman Hewitt?
Present.
Councilman Johnston?
Present.
Councilman Wheeler?
Present.
Mayor Maselli?
Present.
Police Chief Walker? Fire Chief St. Cyr? City Attorney Burris? And City CPA Linda Lulu? Municipal Clerk Nicole Lee is present.
Thank you. I'd like to make some comments before we get started. The city recently has the audio? It's okay? The city recently had a town hall meeting at the senior center. Nearly 100 people attended, and for a city this size, that was a very well-attended meeting. The participants were surveyed to help identify their major concerns for the city. Upon review, the citizens at the meeting considered financial matters and a balanced budget their number one issue. We will be holding other town hall meetings. The citizens there requested that we try and do one again in another month. I just had one at someone's home. Another one's being scheduled at someone else's home. We'll do another larger town hall meeting, and we'll inform the residents where and when that will occur. I was asked to address traffic at the last city council meetings. Citizens have asked for possible interventions to help control speeding along Riverside Drive. I have asked for quotes for speed tables. Speed tables have been effectively used in residential areas such as Old Metairie. The other option suggested is stop signs, which traffic engineers do not suggest to control speeding. Once the quotes for speed tables come in, I will forward it to the council. The council can put forth an ordinance for stop signs with locations or utilize funds from capital projects for the speed tables. These are the only alternatives as a mayor that I can provide for speeding. Speeding is a police issue. I'd also like to address recycling and solid waste, also known as our garbage contract. The current solid waste contract is due to expire March 1st, 2017. In 2011, the current contract was amended to include curbside recycling, and fees were added to the water bill to partially fund the additional service. In the course of considering the proposals for the new garbage contract, we sought information from our current contractor about the recycling program, specifically the number of participants and the breakdown of the amount of material collected in 2015 and 2016. Our present contractor stated that its routing methods of collection and processing, along with commodity information and participation, was the company's proprietary information and thus was not provided. However, they did provide information for the first 3 months of 2015, showing that only 38% of Harahan homes were actually recycling. In December 2016, we also learned that the Harahan Christmas trees, all of which were going to a central Jefferson Parish collection site, could have been sent to Wood Materials composting facility. I specifically requested that Jefferson Parish ensure that the Harahan trees be used only for wetland restoration and not be sent to the compost facility. Jefferson Parish agreed. The Christmas tree matter and the low participation rate confirmed our decision to make the recycling program the subject of a separate agreement. We want to be very specific in the recycling contract about the city's right to know where the material is going. I have directed the Jefferson Parish Water Department to remove the $4.40 recycling fee from the water bill effective March 1st, 2017. Until there is a new agreement in place regarding recycling, curbside recycling will stop as of March 1st. The new contractor will provide central community recycling bins to be located at the senior center, playground, maintenance building, and city hall parking lot. I am happy to report that the city has contracted with Ramelli Waste to provide important service to our community at a savings of $80,000 a year, with the contract having additional emphasis on service to our community and residents. Please know that there will be no interruption in service. Routes and days of the week are the same. Ramelli will deliver door hangers to all residents next week. This is a photostat copy of what they'll look like. They'll be two-sided for everyone, okay? The information contained on these door hangers will also be located on the city's website. The city website is also developing a special place for garbage, whether it's complaints, requesting additional carts, or carts that are broken down, et cetera, in order to help deliver services to our residents. Ramelli Waste, Mr. Bob Ramelli, I see him here tonight, has agreed to come and talk to our community. I'd like to congratulate him and welcome to our city. Thank you very much. We look forward to having you. Dave Corcell, I ran into him last night, and I thought you said something. The city's prosecutor, he's also the former city attorney for the city, and he wishes to introduce a special guest who's running for office, Mr. John Schroeder. I have been informed also that Mr. Larsella will not be able to make it tonight due to an illness. He was scheduled to speak under special presentations number 2. I would like to ask for a motion to remove Mr. Larsella from number 2 under special presentations and add Dave Corcell with John Schroeder.
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Bodier. All in favor?
Yay.
Any nays? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes. You'll be number 2 under special presentations. Thank you very much. Mr. Ramelli, would you like to come up and talk to our residents?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I just want to say thank y'all very much for the opportunity to work with y'all. We've been in the waste business for about 11 years now. We pick up the garbage in the city of Kenner, as well as about 20,000 houses on the east bank of Jefferson Parish for Progressive. Just want to let y'all know that we have 3 dedicated trucks for the city of Harahan. They're brand-new 2017 trucks. Our garbage carts, garbage cans will be delivered this week, and we have worked a deal out with y'all's current contractor that as we pick their old can up, we'll put a new Ramelli can out. So there should be no interruption in trash at all. The same routes are going to be, run the same way they were before. And that's pretty much it.
And the size of the trucks?
The size of the trucks are 26-yard trucks. They're not the big, large trucks like we use in the Kenner contract. They're small. They'll have 2 hoppers on each truck, and will run the same days. Any questions from anybody that I could answer? Yes, sir. What we'll do is we'll put a special handicap sticker out for each resident that needs one, and we'll have backyard service. We'll go to the backyard, pick up the cans. After we empty them, we'll bring them back to where we picked them up. We have any size that's from 32 gallons all the way up to the 96 gallons.
Does anybody pick up the recycling bins?
We will pick up the recycling. No, the recycling bins belong to Progressive. I'm sure that we'll pick, if y'all put them out, we'll pick those up at the same time. I haven't talked to Progressive about that, but if they're out, they belong to Progressive, we will pick them up.
Right now, extra debris is picked up by as free of charge from the other company. Are y'all gonna
Yes, sir.
follow through with that?
Yes, sir. We'll also pick up the white goods. If the garbage is out, we'll pick it up. We'll normally pick up the leafy products and the extra debris on the second pickup day. Is the way that we run it in the other communities.
The
I think
other
it's
service that I was impressed about is the request for late pickup.
Yeah, we have a route manager that will come around, and he will run every route every day to make sure that all the garbage cans, or what we do is after we pick up the cans, we put them back turned on the side so that my route manager can understand everything has been picked up. We don't just throw the garbage cans on the street. We place them back up on their wheels. And if there's a late pickup, we have a special truck that'll come by and pick the stuff up.
And are citizens going to have to put out their trash cans to be picked up?
On the curb, yes,
right,
sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir. On the curb, they will.
As usual.
Yeah, that should be the same as it was now.
No, I'm sorry.
Washing machines, refrigerators, that type of stuff is what we call white
You're
goods.
not making any change in what I'll call trash pickup, for garbage pickup that we currently have, not just pickup.
We'll pick up the trash on the second pickup day. That's a scheduled pickup day. But normally, we pick it up anytime it's out. You know, it's just that we want to get the garbage up first because that smells and stinks. And if we have to, we'll send a truck back in on the second day to pick up everything that's out.
Right, and I think you
And-
misunderstood me. I'm talking about the cans that they have now. They will put it out to the street, and y'all will come pick it up to switch it out?
They'll put it out on a regular garbage day. We'll pick it up. We'll replace it with one of our cans
Okay.
and take the
On
progressive
pickup day,
can.
okay.
On the pickup day. It's not all going to happen the very first day. It's going to be a series of days that it's going to take us to get all the cans up. It's just not possible. If a resident picks up, if the garbage is emptied early and a resident comes out and picks the can up and brings it back to their house, that's no problem. The next time we come by, we'll pick that can up and bring it back to Progressive.
And Mr. O'Malley, can you speak to the importance of the size of the trucks, especially for a city with small streets?
Yes, the trucks are at a size where we can maneuver down the streets with absolutely no problems at all. And the weight is not that much when they go on the street. So the streets won't be, we won't make potholes in it. We won't overload the streets and infrastructure, the sewer, or anything else that's in the way. You know, we're not going to put any stress on those at all. Yes?
Well,
Are you gonna dump that wood materials dump site?
We haven't, I think it's going to be at River Birch, but I'm not sure yet. We haven't got the call on which one it goes to yet.
well, we're, okay. Any, council has any
Yeah.
other?
Also, right now, extra stuff that they bring to the dump, they have to pay a fee. Or what's the route? We're still going to have to pay a fee for the dump?
Yes, the new contract is.
It's all inclusive.
The garbage will be paid by the city. The tipping fees will.
I'm talking about like the dump, like if they have extra stuff. Right. If they have extra stuff and they bring it,
That doesn't-
over there.
That hasn't been affected.
they would pay a fee.
Who will?
Citizens would pay the fee. If we,
For extra cans.
Right.
For extra cans, yeah.
no, not extra cans. Like, say they want to bring a whole bunch of stuff to the dump.
David Drive.
David Drive.
Oh, I have nothing,
That
that's
wasn't-
between the parish. That's
That's
with the
with the
parish. I
parish.
have nothing to do with that. I'm sure that the parish is still going to let them do it because y'all are residents of Jefferson
Right.
Parish.
Right, well, it should pay a fee right now.
Yes.
To the old one, I didn't know if,
That's a parish issue.
That's a parish, that was a parish agreement, not a corporate agreement. Yes, sir.
Y'all be picking up lids.
To a certain size, they have to, on the door hanger has all the exact sizes that they need to be picked up. But there's a weight limit on bulky waste. If you cut down a tree or a big limb or something, if you cut it up into a certain weight limit that my hoppers can put it in the truck, we'll be glad to haul it off.
And it's comparable to what we were doing prior.
Yeah, nothing's really, all that's about, that has stayed the same.
and I don't know if you can answer this now, I don't know. But length of the contract and renewals, how is?
It's 5-year with a 5-year option.
Well, Mr. O'Malley, welcome to the city of Harahan, and we were thrilled to have you, so thank
Well,
you very much.
We're very thrilled to be here, and if y'all have any questions, we'll have, our phone number is available. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right.
Thank you.
I just
want-
have, I just have a couple questions
Oh, sure.
for you that doesn't pertain to him.
Additionally,
Yeah.
what's nice is that the contractor now will be in charge of if there's a can that needs to be delivered, on, say someone wants a second can, or can replaced, or can repaired, it will no longer fall to maintenance to have to do that. So that duty took a lot of time and resources from our staff.
All right, just a couple questions. Big contract like that, one of the biggest, I'm sorry.
I just want to say, there's a lot of static.
I hear it.
Using my camera. I don't know if anybody has a cell phone here, a mic or something, but I've never heard it this bad before.
I know that one's going to give me a lot of problems that, no.
I mean, I don't have a suggestion, I
Is
just
it-
want to let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Gotcha. Question is a contract as big as it is right now, why was it not a public opening? Why was it a private opening
What do you mean?
as far as a bid opening?
It was, an RFP is different than a bid, because it's a service, and it's not just who's got the lowest bid. It is a service. It's a professional service.
Okay, then,
And that was also addressed, I believe, in an email.
okay. And then also, being that monies are going to change, recycling's going away, we would have to amend the budget. Why don't we have to approve the contract?
It came in under, it's one, it's less than what was appropriate. We will be spending less than we spent in 2016. So when a budget already has that line item appropriately allocated, then the contract can be signed.
And when are we going to get a copy of the contract?
The contract, I believe, is going online or went online. I'll have to check when it goes
Okay,
online.
again, I mean, they're coming up with a special presentation. I think the council should know exactly what all is in the contract.
Well, what's interesting is there were several emails that went out, Craig. December 2nd, dear Craig, would you like to participate in the grading process for the RFP for the garbage? January 5th, to the entire council. Dear council, the city current garbage contract is due to expire on March 1st, 2017. An RFP for the garbage contract, which can be viewed on the city's website, was released on December 7th.
That has nothing to do with the
No,
copy of the
let me
contract.
just finish. Craig Johnston was asked if he would like to serve on the selection committee, but the response has not been received. Should he or another council person be interested in serving on the selection committee, please let me know. Proposals are due by January 9th, 2017. The date to review the proposals will be determined next week, with the selection anticipated shortly thereafter. Recycling was not included in the RFP and can be addressed in a future contact. I would appreciate your input on these issues. Most sincerely, and Happy New Year, Tina Maselli. Then Ms. Wheeler on January 12th. I'm sorry, that was my response. She asked as to why isn't this contract going out to public bid instead of privately through a RFP, and with some other language, and I responded to her on that same day, this contract is a service-related contract and is best served by an RFP. So this administration has repeatedly put out to the council that this was due. Also, the council has requested repeatedly for contracts to be put online and to be given to them. All contracts, including the garbage contract, when I took office, was put online. So the end dates were known to all council members, it was delivered to them, and it's on the city's website.
The contract's not on the
And,
website.
and I'm putting it on as soon, we just finished the
Well, the
contract and
council,
signed it.
council should have a copy already. They shouldn't have to wait for it to be put online.
Craig, you could
Does-
have asked. I have not received one
When you
piece
say-
of
when you say
information
that
from
this is
you
who we picked,
requesting-
when you
Wait,
say
I'm
this
in-
is who
let's
we
not-
picked,
Wait, let's not
it should
talk over each
automatically
other.
be sent to the council.
Let's not talk over each other. There was great amount of contact with the council and an amazing lack of curiosity.
You talk about transparency, but you never want to involve the council in anything.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I think transparency is evident, and not one comment has been made when that, we were talking about sending that RFP out. hey, can you send me this? What does it look like? Do you have any additional information? I would like to serve on that committee. I'd like to have some input. This administration has given this information to the council, and there was no interest voiced.
Just like the
Mayor,
last
can I
one,
also
I
say
chose
I
not to
asked
be on the
you
grading
provide-
committee.
oh, Sorry.
Oh.
I also sent you an email to ask to give me a list of the companies that submitted proposals. I never got a response back from you on that either.
I can address the inundation of requests that we have. I can do that now or do that later. We are handling requests as they come in. We are trying to do this appropriately and send all of the requests that are for public information to the proper people to get the information and then to have the information reviewed by the city attorney, who also has been
Right,
inundated
but that
with all
request was
this.
not made through a public request. I just sent you an email just asking you if you could provide me a list of the names of the companies that submitted proposals.
I'm happy to provide it to you.
Now you are? You didn't then?
I don't,
That's
And,
okay.
then-
I
and that's
don't
another
recall.
thing, to make the council go through public requests is totally ridiculous. The
The
council
pu-
should have the opportunity to get whatever they need to do their job, not have to go through a public records request.
the mayor sends out emails and continually gets no response from the council and does not wish to participate in the process. That's a fact. I have numerous emails to this council inviting them to participate, and it has been rejected. Whether it was from weekly meetings, whether it was to participate on RFPs, whether it was for input, whether it was, do you have any concerns? I've received nothing. And all this bombastic talk back and forth, not one of the council said, you know what? You saved us $80,000 a year. Good job.
That's 'cause we don't see it.
And no one even asked for the results. So I'm telling you when the RFP is going to go out, when it's going to be graded, and when it has to be decided. And not one of you,
And when
not
you
one of the
decide, it should
four,
have came out to us.
Not one of the four has ever
All right,
said,
it's-
what's the result?
Let's just move on. It's going to be a back and forth, just let's move on.
Thank you very much. Next, we will have Dave Corsell under special presentations. And you know what? He's got such a great smile. He's a good person to come up next for introductions and to.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council,
you.
citizens. It's good to be back here. My
Welcome.
friend is running for state treasurer. I'm proud to introduce him, but actually someone else is going to come behind me to say some more things. But this person I've known for a long time. He has a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful children. He's running for state treasurer. He's a true fiscal conservative. He's one of the first, along with State Rep Talbot, to really go out there and tout himself as a true fiscal conservative and take on some other people in some tough spots. But I know him for a long time. He's a great guy. I'm not even going to say his name yet because Mr. Talbot's going to come up here and introduce him. But I do want to thank you, Mayor and Council, for letting us come. This gentleman appreciates it. He will be up here in a moment. Thank you.
We might need you later on in the meeting too, if you want to stay, especially with what office you're running for.
Well, I know he was in the military police, so maybe that
That would
would
help,
could
too.
do some help. But John and I were both elected in 2007. We both were sworn in at the same time when Governor Jindal took office. We were kind of part of the original group of the fiscal hawks, I guess you could say, which kind of after 2009, we started really looking at the budget and seeing problems we had with spending versus revenues. And, you know, I won't speak for John, but I'm sure I know he agrees. We believe that Louisiana has a spending problem, not a revenue problem. We're in a special session right now that we started Monday that goes through Wednesday. The governor is asking us to tap our rainy day fund, which is kind of like the fund we only tap when it's really raining, when things are really bad. And it seems like over the last several years, that has become the norm. And you know how I feel about it, and people like John, is it's really not raining. Like, this is the new normal. Oil is still way below $80. I think we're at 50-something a barrel. We've lost 33,000 jobs. We need to tighten the belt and understand this is the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future and start to match revenues with spending, because we keep running into these same problems. But John was with us when Cameron Henry and I filed a lawsuit against then Governor Jindal, and I think in 2010, over unconstitutional, what we thought were unconstitutional practices on the budget. That lawsuit unfortunately got thrown out, but John has stood with us on that. He has been a member of the Appropriations Committee, which handles the budget from day one, and he has been a constant critic of this frivolous spending that has gotten us to the problem we are today. So we could use that $80,000, by the way, if you don't have a use for it here.
We have a very good.
Actually, we don't need that because we have enough money. Revenue is not our problem. Spending is our problem. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce John Schroeder. He's a good friend of mine. He sits in front of me, and I'll really ask you all to take a very hard look at him. Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Schroeder.
Thank you. I sort of know what this feels like, to be honest with you. My name is John Schroeder. I'm originally from Jefferson Parish. I went to East Jefferson and moved across the lake before it became cool in 1979 to play football at Southeastern. Met my wife and I stayed there. So 56, I've been in the legislature for 10 years, dealing with my favorite hot dog vendor. I have gained a few pounds since I met Kurt Talbot. But I am running for state treasurer, and I'm not going to get into all that tonight. I really just appreciate the opportunity to come in and introduce myself so you can put a name to a face. There's not going to be anybody else getting a race that sort of does what I do. And if you want to read the newspaper from yesterday, I had a nice little sparring opportunity with the administration. We do have a problem in this state. We don't quite do it the same way you guys do. If we were to do what you would do, as I told the governor today, we might save more than $80,000. And I am hoarse. This isn't a cold. This is from campaigning. So again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. Put a name to a face. Nice name, ugly face. And then I'm leaving, and y'all can fix all these problems. But I am used. I've sat on appropriations and dealt with the budget, your budget, for 10 years now. And let me tell you, it's a tough process. Nobody wants to give up anything. Everybody wants to protect their kingdoms. At some point in time, we have to put aside our politics. It isn't about Republican, Democrat. It's about doing what's best for the citizens of this state. So, Mayor, Council, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. And Kirk Talbot and Dave Purcell, thank you for bringing him to our city council meeting. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Next, we have, under special presentations, is Darlene Schwartz, who is our community liaison.
Good evening, everyone. 2 quick items tonight. Just to serve as a reminder, I think we have 2, maybe 3 more council meetings, including tonight, to remind folks about the Drug Take Back Day, the end of April, last Saturday in April. Start collecting your stuff, please, getting that together. Really appreciate the participation. We had discussed possibly doing 3 locations and decided the 2 should be sufficient for our area. So look forward to collecting those items from you guys again. The other thing is I'm up and down the streets of Harahan quite a bit. Personal business and city business. The weather's starting to mellow out a bit, and I'm seeing a lot of kids starting to ride bikes and kind of running around playing ball and stuff. It makes me a nervous wreck when I see kids unattended. I know parents have a lot of things going on, but I see kids riding bikes with no adults around, or kids playing with no adults. And it's unfortunate today, but not everybody is good that's up and down the streets of any city or any place. So just please try to keep an eye on your kids, at least be somewhere where they're in line of sight. Not just for any evildoers, but chasing after the ball in the street or anything else. It just makes me a nervous wreck seeing that. So please, for grandparents and uncles and aunts and parents and everybody with kids out there, please try to keep up with them and look after them. And that's about it for tonight. Next month, I think we're going to have some new stuff on the agenda. We'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tim Walker? Hey, Chief.
How are you? Good evening, Mayor, Council, viewing public. I have a few presentations tonight. First, I want to thank you, Mayor, for taking my suggestion, bringing the Council Secretary up front so she can get a better handle on the minutes. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for offering to. That was
No
very
problem.
kind.
No problem. Okay. This is the stats for 2016 for the Harahan Police Department. We answered 8,263 calls for service. There was 175 auto accidents that we handled. We issued 1,374 citations for 2,056 charges. We had 6 funeral escorts, and we had 86 patrol requests. People go on vacation, call the station, and we do a patrol request. We check their residence or their business while they out of town. Total number of arrests for 2016 was 1,225 for 2,302 charges. There was 304 felonies, 1,264 misdemeanors, 296 city charges, and 438 traffic. The crimes last year, we had no murders, 1 rape, no robberies, 16 residential burglaries, 2 non-residential burglaries, 5 attempted burglaries, 8 vehicle thefts, 1 attempted motor vehicle theft, 94 larceny thefts, and 117 assaults, I'm sorry. Also, a recap of some of the events that the Harahan Police Department handled during 2016. I know it's been mentioned a few times that, well, I'll get into it and give you, as we go along. This is during 2016, the Harahan Police Department, along with the Harahan Reserve Division of the Police Department, performed and participated in the following events, in addition to providing their regular duties, patrolling the city, enforcing laws and ordinances, and answering calls for service. We had security, St. Rita Schools open house, Harahan Elementary Mardi Gras Ball back at the Harahan Gym, St. Rita Mardi Gras Parade, Harahan Elementary, and St. Rita's annual Mardi Gras parades, which are coming up not this Friday, but the following Friday. St. Rita Green and White Night, St. Rita School Play, St. Patrick's Day Parade in Metairie, Season Grief and Loss Annual Benefit at Colonial Bowling Alley, St. Rita School May Crossing, St. Rita's Dad's Club Father-Daughter Dance, Dad's Club Crawfish Cook-Off, Canada Police Torch Run to benefit Special Olympics, St. Rita Parish Feast of Corpus Christi Annual Eucharistic Procession, Family Helping Families Touch a Truck event, the VFW Flag Retirement Ceremony, the Prayer for Police and St. Rita Legion of Mary function, a Dancing for Heroes, Walk for Police in LaSalle Park, St. Rita Knights of Columbus Ladies Auxiliary Bonko, the Soul Bowl, which is Special Olympics benefit at Colonial Bowling Alley, Harahan Police Department Search and Rescue Operation in Baton Rouge. We sent regular officers and reserve officers to Baton Rouge on 2 occasions to help with recovery and search efforts after the flooding in the Baton Rouge area last year. Community prayer service for law enforcement, neighborhood watch meetings in several locations in the city. We'd like more people to participate. If your neighborhood wants to gather and put together a neighborhood watch, please call the station, leave information, but we'll get back with you. It's usually a 1-block area for y'all to participate in. St. Rita Knights of Columbus Annual Car Show, Back to Blue concert in Lafreniere Park. The drug take-back program that Officer Schwartz was just talking about. Assist Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office with their poker run. The annual Night Out Against Crime in Harahan. The Magnolia School Halloween Party at the Harahan Lions Club. The Red Knights Motorcycle Club Run in Westwego. Halloween Night in Imperial Woods Subdivision back in Imperial Woods. I know we had some comments about what do the reserves do. That's one of the functions that's the reserve section conducts totally on their own. They're anywhere from 14 or more officers. They are on every corner between on Stoneleigh and Dosha from one end to the other. It's something that's been created for a number of years. It's grown probably anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 participants come back there. If our reserves would ever shut down or not service this, there would be utter chaos, trust me. And our department's not large enough to provide the manpower to cover that event. Each year it gets larger and larger. So I'm very thankful for our reserve officers that take away on Halloween night, away from their families, come out and serve our residents and people that participate on that night, Halloween in Harahan. So. St. Rita Bingo prior to the Pecan Festival, also the Pecan Festival at St. Rita. That's another event that the reserves work very diligently helping, especially crossing the street on Jefferson Highway the nights of the Pecan Festival. Faith Lutheran School with Trunk or Treat, annual senior citizen Thanksgiving dinner. During the Christmas holidays, extra patrols from November 25th through December 31st. Zarang Park, Rosary Rally, St. Rita School, Red Ribbon Week, Sheriff's Office Toy Run for Magnolia School, annual Harahan Police Department Christmas Parade. That's also conducted primarily by our reserve. That's also grown over the years. It runs the entire length of Jefferson Highway from Hood Street to Folse. Each year it keeps getting larger and larger. This year we had a terrific turnout and participants. Again, the reserves put that together and they work that in association with other departments around that come and share. We provide security at the Mayor's Court twice a month. Weekly church traffic detail at St. Rita. Again, that's the reserves that put that on at no charge. Details at area business establishments and other functions in Harahan during the year. DWI checkpoints various times of the year. Funeral escorts. Assist Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office with checkpoints and saturation patrol, special events. Scout orientation at Harahan Police Department lockup. The HOPE program, that's Harahan officers providing education. That's put on by Officer Schwartz. She goes into the area schools and put on a program dealing with such things as drug, alcohol and tobacco use, bullying, peer pressure. And again, she does that by herself on her own time. She's a reserve officer. Street light notification. Also, our officers are required, both full-time and reserve, to take 20 hours a year of in-service training. And let's see. Our special response team, which we have, that does area training in the schools in the event of a hostage situation. And our officers, when available, assist with school crossing at the area schools in the morning. We also have the Facebook page, which alerts you to what's going on at the Harahan Police Department has going on with our recent arrests, and also any interested article is posted on there. Also recently, Mayor Maselli and Councilwoman Benton have been commenting about, I won't answer her questions, why we need 2 additional police officers. I was sent an email last year, I answered it, experience. I guess I'll have to go into it one more time to explain why I believe we need 2 more police officers. They think we need to have a study or an International Association of Chiefs of Police or FBI or some other agency's way of dealing with it. It's easy enough for me to analyze what the department has. I mean, Mayor Maselli, Ms. Benton, have you all attended a police academy? No, I've attended a police academy and graduated. Have you all got an associate degree in law enforcement? No, I do. Have you all got a Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice? No, I do. Have you all attended the LSU Law Enforcement Institute, 12 weeks advanced training in Baton Rouge? I don't think so, but I've attended that and graduated. Have you all got any police experience? No, I've got 20 years plus, over 2.5 as the police chief in Harahan. My main concern is keep my officers safe. After the last meeting last month, after being criticized about we have too much, meaning the police department, I wake up the next morning, or Friday morning, to start getting text messages. This poor Oswego policeman. He just completed a shift. He's on his way home. He's out of his jurisdiction. He's in Marrero. He sees what he thinks to be a minor auto accident. He stops to go to assist. The lady's on the ground. He stops to assist her. While he's on the ground, he gets assassinated, murdered, killed. Why? Because he was a policeman and carried a badge. That's my concern with our officers here. They can't have too much. It can happen here, it can happen anywhere. Times have changed post-Katrina in this metropolitan area. Our community is spoiled. That's why I live here, 'cause I think that's why all of us live here that are residents of Harahan, because our police department has spoiled us. 3 to 5 minutes, if we don't answer a call, in most situations, where are the police? I'm talking about a barking dog or something minor. You read about the neighboring parish hours before they respond to an armed robbery call. That's unheard of. And you can say we have too much and why I think we need 2 police officers? That's why I need 2 police officers. I have, one officer was dismissed about a week and a half ago. So I replaced him, plus I hired another officer right after the last council meeting. So I got 2 going into the academy in about a week and a half. Another officer got hurt off duty, so he's gonna be on limited duty, he needs to have an operation, so he's gonna be out for a while. So that night watch that I had 4 policemen on each shift, one shift now is down to 2 officers, because one of those officers, the 3rd officer, he's out on military leave for 5 weeks. So we have a constant change in personnel, whether they sick, whether they on vacation, comp time, or military leave, and we're always trying to fill the positions. That's why I think we need 2 police officers, their safety. I had a resident contact me the other day, said, you seem like you're upset at these meetings. I'm not upset, I am frustrated. The amount of time my staff and I have to spend to try and justify our existence is ridiculous. Unbelievable, unbelievable. You know, the mayor, you say your legacy is gonna be you eliminate the debt. That's fine. My job, I took an oath of office to protect this community and to protect my officers, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, and that's why I believe, for my education, experience, training, that I need 2 additional police officers. You know, I knew about it before the last council meeting. You've been inviting people to come here and criticize the police department. As I mentioned at the last meeting, when I came into office, they had a morale problem. Our officers deal with the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just like the fire department. We're a service organization. So morale to me is a big thing. I want my officers to come to work with a good feeling, with as less stress as possible, because they have enough on their back, not knowing what they're gonna come in contact with during their 12-hour shift. And then you're constantly inviting people to come here and criticize the police department. My door's open. I meet people all the time. You got a problem? Come see me. We'll deal with it. And also, I'm understanding maintenance department has been told that they can't work in the police department. Is that true? I mean, we had 2 over the other day putting up a
I'm just gonna let you
white.
finish all your accusations and not gonna address them after.
Okay, that's fine. I've 2 over at the office the other day hanging a whiteboard. It's like a chalkboard. Before they finished, they were called to come over to City Hall and empty trash cans. You know, I've tried to work, it's just hard to do. You know, last year, over 135 people in law enforcement in this country lost their lives. I don't want it to happen to one of my men. Or women. I tell them they go to work up to 12-hour shift, you go home fatigued, not with a scratch on you. Another subject, Mardi Gras is coming up in a few weeks, parades are starting this weekend. If you have young children, everybody's got a cell phone with a camera, take a picture of the child with the clothes they're wearing that night, put some kind of identification in your pocket in case they get separated. That's one of the biggest things that we have during Halloween back in Imperial Woods, lost children. They get separated from their parents. Also, I put out on our Facebook page today, I was just notified this afternoon late, the Department of Transportation on Hickory from 9th to Dickory, starting Monday, they can start repaving or resurfacing Hickory Avenue. So there's gonna be some delays starting this Monday. I'm not sure how long the project is gonna take, but we just got notified late this afternoon. And dealing with the traffic on Riverside, I met with Councilman Paul Johnson, traffic engineer from the parish and also from the state, and we're working on some signage for Riverside Drive to try and curtail some of the speeding. And speaking of Councilman Johnson, I can't thank him enough. The last 3 police cars we just put in service recently, he paid for last year, and he just gave me $180,000 to buy some additional units for this year. And then I also understand, I don't know if it's true or not, that we're outsourcing payroll.
We're looked into that.
Looking at it? Okay. One last thing, dealing with Officer Louvier, the officer that was murdered last
I'm
month.
sorry, I'm trying to get the AC.
On March the 5th, from noon to 5, at English Turn Country Club, across the river, they're having a benefit. You can find information on our Facebook page or come out of the station. We can give you some additional information. Thank you.
I've invited the chief to go and get some coffee or some lunch. He has not responded to me. I think that there's a lot of communication issues, chief, that you and I need to deal with. I think to come before the council and to suggest, you know what I'm thinking, my intentions are, or what I'm doing, and without any communication, just simply isn't good for, wait, you just talked.
I'll answer real quick. And I answered it 2 months ago. If I trusted you, I would do it. I don't trust you.
Sam, chief, that's uncalled for. That is, I take exception to that. We do not need to defame, insult, or make up accusations. Period. I think if we want to have a discourse about police and staffing, et cetera, we can do that. I think it was just very good practice to say, can you provide the data? What is it? How do I go into deficit spending, chief, when I've got a fire department that's been depleted, I have a maintenance department that's been depleted, I have many other sewer infrastructure, drainage that has been left unattended to for years. So I understand that there are some things that you take advantage, and when you lose them, that's when you really get upset. Your health and your safety. You know how precious they are when something happens to you. It's the same way our citizens who, when they're in certain parts of this city and there's a rain and their commodes back up and sewage is in their streets and they have to walk through it and get contaminated, that's their number one issue. The people who live on McHugh, on Sedgefield, and different places with a light rain, when water is sloshing up to their doors during a light rain and they're worried about what's happening and if they're going to be flooded, that's their number one issue. I agree, there are many things that we need to take care of. But we do have some legal parameters. We cannot deficit spend. We look at historical trends. And if we're going to deficit spend, we better have a reason that we can give to the legislative auditor, all the governing bodies that we're going to have to speak to and respond to our citizens. So we can further address this later. We will now go
Can I
to.
make a couple of comments, please?
Sure.
Chief, first of all, I don't know if you know this about me, but I do have a political science degree with a minor in criminal justice, and I have been a police officer before. I worked with Jefferson Parish for a little over a year doing undercover narcotics. And I gotta tell you, I would never do that job ever again. It's the
hard.
most unsafest job. These policemen today, it is so horrible. First of all, what we pay you is just unbelievably ridiculous. But it's so horrible today what these police are going through Katrina, this is happening in the whole country. It's scary. And I just want you to know that, you know, we stand by you. We stand with you. We stand because we do care. I know of 4 councilmen on this committee, that do care about the health, safety, and welfare of the citizen. And we actually jumped on Craig a little while ago. It is a trust issue. We don't trust her. I don't even answer my email nor even look at it anymore because we have an opinion from City Attorney Beers that the mayor can, at her whim, can choose to read all our correspondence. I don't think that that's the way it should be. I wouldn't do that to my employees, and I don't like having it done to me. So I don't look at my city email, nor entertain my email, or answer my city email, because there is this huge trust issue. And that's what's really going on, and that's the root of what's happening here, and that's what's tearing this council and the city apart.
I'm going to take exception. Everything you say is trust issues, or you couch it in as transparency and everything like this. This has got to stop.
We agree.
You know, Tim Baudier, I appreciate that you served as a police officer. It is one of the hardest jobs. I can't even imagine doing it. I didn't choose to do it. It is highly dangerous. It takes skill. It takes dedication. But trust began with you when you took office for the first time, not this year, but 9 years ago. When you're passing budgets in the past that you added revenue that didn't exist, $300,000 BP oil spill money, and you put it under a grant as revenues and then spend it, and then there's no talk about it, it just goes to the wayside. I'm the bad guy? I'm the bad guy? No, budgets that weren't passed, deficit spending, that was on the past. We're going to do this. We're going to do the numbers as best we can. We're working short, we're working hard, and we're trying to work well. And we need a little bit of cooperation. And there has got to be better discourse. I like you as a person. I like the council members. But we have got to be able to communicate. You can't sit there and know and ask for every single contract and see when the expiration dates, heard about an RFPs, and then act like, oh, I'm supposed to read your mind and know when to give you stuff and when to do it. I believe the contract may even be online for the garbage right now in this fact. You cannot have budget amendments that are done at the last minute to add personnel and give the false impression that you've added personnel and you've balanced a budget when you have not increased payroll taxes, you did not increase retirement, you have not increased salary, and you're saying you're passing a budget that is balanced. That lacks trust, that lacks any kind of transparency. It doesn't even go to due diligence. You have an obligation to uphold the laws of the state, the Local Government Budget Act, the Larson Act, and our local ordinances. And that applies to the budget, and not putting out false promises saying that we can afford, by making up numbers, to make them look like they fit. So if you're going to do a budget and you're going to make a promise to the police department who served me, my family, our community, that they can have 2 extra officers, then the budget numbers better make sense. And you make promises also to the fire department that you can be able to put all these people out there, and you're telling the community, oh yeah, we've got it handled. Well, you know what? There are also federal laws and state laws that regulate what you put in for retirement, what you put in for the payroll taxes, and et cetera. So there's also other issues that when you look at budgets and you make these promises and that we're going to fix everything and do everything, you have to also go from certain guidelines, the accounting guidelines. So I'm not going to make false promises to, especially to the people I work with and to my community, that I can create magic money and make it happen, because it did not follow. The promises have to be backed up with real money.
Well, first of all, Mayor, I've worked with 2 mayors under you, and just, I don't know if you know, because I haven't really seen you anywhere, anyhow, at any event, anything ever until you stepped out to run for mayor. So I truly don't believe that you understand the dynamic of Harahan. It took me a long time to get it too. But when I ran as first councilman, and I won, every councilman campaigned against me. The mayor campaigned against me. And when I won, thought I was going to walk into something that was going to be pretty tough, and I have never been treated with the disrespect that I've got under your administration. Those 2 mayors prior to you, we had information at hand before it ever got to anybody. It came in. There was times we had information before the mayor actually had it to do our job.
Well, you know,
I'm not
Tim,
going to put an RFP in or to go get my own information.
I'm
a councilman. Now, let's talk about deficit spending. Are we talking about the same deficit spending when we allot, I'm going to use roundabout figures, 48,000 for a new city account, but we spend over 120 to pay her in the first year?
you know, I brought some.
Is that deficit spending?
I brought some council minutes, you know, for some fun. Because council minutes saying, I didn't receive this agenda packet until the night of the meeting. It's the first time I'm seeing it on some of the council minutes. So if you want to really go back and talk about the past, we can go back and talk about the past, because I've watched it and I've seen it.
Well, you know, you
Like,
talking about the past.
you're the one who brought it up, Tim, so we can agree.
I brought up
We
trust.
can agree
I
to
never brought up the
disagree.
past.
I was not on the council and then made comments and said, I forgot about a $4 million loan. Oh, I don't recall it.
We never forgot about a $4 million
It
loan.
was said-
You were notified over a year ago about the $4 million loan, and you were supposed to come to us, but yet you used the excuse that y'all were working on getting budget numbers together to
That's not
inform us
true.
when the
That is true.
DEQ
That is true.
was informing you a year?
No.
Come on,
Councilman
Mayor.
Bodiak,
It is true.
you gave the
Right, can we move
permission.
on? Let's move
Yes,
on.
we
Let's
can,
move on,
but
because these
if
people-
you're going to
I
have
wanna go and live my life, and I'm
accusations.
pretty sure these people do as well.
So
Let's move on.
when I've got facts in my hand and I'm ready to present it, You want to move on. You want to give an accusation, and then let's move on.
My accusation is simple, we don't trust you, that's it.
I understand you don't trust me. And that's, let's try and keep our comments to ourselves. And I'm sorry, but
It's
this
not an
is,
insult. I'm not being mean or ugly.
this has
I
got
just-
to end.
Every single thing we do is under your microscope. We're councilmen, we're part-time, that you've made so eloquently, pronounced that we're part-time. You spend all day, every day, trying to figure out ways to jam it down our throat. And guess what? We've had enough. You talk about working together, you need to practice what you preach.
I don't know what's being jammed down your throat, Tim.
The
We-
DEQ a few months ago, when we weren't informed for over a year, and they standing there telling us that because of some of Ms. Linda Lou's
I will-
projections, that we have to vote on something that we're gonna crush citizens that are on a fixed
Just,
income.
we're getting off on a tangent, but I will republish the minutes from 2012 and 2013. And the information that this council had about the loan, the bond, the covenants, the rates, and what they neglected to do, even though they had the information. We will now open to address the council.
I'd like to make one comment, please. Chief, can you come to the podium?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to add to Councilman Baudier's comments. I appreciate your courage every meeting to stand up and defend yourself. And
I
the
took an oath
depart-
of office, and I take it very, very seriously, and I'm going to defend to protect the city and our officers to the fullest.
We appreciate and we support you, and I thank you for coming up here every month to defend your department, your officers, yourself, to this mayor, and our citizens. And we appreciate everything you do, and we stand behind you.
Thank you. Everything I do.
And Chief, I stand behind you, and I stand behind every
Why do
single
you try to demoralize
officer.
my department when you on the news beat everything else saying, we don't need officers, we don't need this? Councilman Benton, when I bought firearms for our officers and the reserves, the same weapon system that Jefferson Parish, I look to the future. If something happens, we work together. Jefferson Parish, Jefferson spends a lot of time in Harahan, thank God, and we back them up
We
in
will-
Parish. Worst case scenario, we carry the same system. Somebody needs ammunition, the magazines that hold the bullets, they're interchangeable. The gun's the same. If somebody's down, you pick up somebody else's gun, it's the same system you're familiar with. And I was criticized for buying them because I found out our reserve officers didn't have firearms supplied by the department. We supply them with uniforms, and now we supply them with firearms. They give their time on a regular basis to keep us safe at no cost. And I thought that was the least I could do.
And Chief,
But you didn't answer
I-
my question. You invite people to come here and
Chief,
criticize us? That's not
nobody
true?
invites anyone to
You've never
criticize
invited
you.
anybody to,
You want to know who it gets in.
I wanna
Look,
know what?
I'm not gonna go into accusations or things
not
that.
accusations.
Look.
and just
Chief,
like Maynard's, you
I
have-
support our police department, but I'm not gonna let you get in a pickle because it's a fake budget and the numbers don't work. And I'm not gonna let the deficit come and loom and let us go into a deficit situation where we cannot grow your department. We're about to be out of that deficit, we're about to be there, and that we can start growing together. We need to improve payment for the police, for the fire, for city employees. We need to create a benefit package for our non-civil service employees. We need to put in major infrastructure into this city so that we can get our water to the pump to the river facility that's about to open. I'm asking you to work with me, not
I've
work
tried.
against
but
me.
I supported you.
So,
I've tried working with you.
and I support you, Tim,
No.
and I support,
Well, you
and
don't
I
support the
support our
department when you
police.
try to
I do
demoralize our
support our
officers on a
police.
regular basis.
No one's
Invite people to
demoralizing
come here
them.
and criticize them.
Nobody's demoralizing.
You've never invited somebody here?
I don't invite people here. That's been a tactic I believe has been
Oh, really?
countered.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let's do address the council. We're going to open address the council. Please come up to the podium, state your name and address. You will have a 3-minute time limit. Please refrain from any inflammatory comments. Also, no comments will be entertained from the seated audience. If you'd like to have further information, please make an appointment with a council member, with myself, or we can do small meetings. Thank you very much. Let me get my timer, if you don't mind. Hold on just a moment. Okay, Ms. Ream.
Have you figured out the AC? People are complaining.
You know what? I've got to get the login back from Ted Ladner. Do you mind, is Ted around that we could? Okay. Ted's got the magic. Address the council.
She needs a password.
I don't have the password. I'm sorry. Yes, Ted.
Well, I will when everybody starts talking.
You want to start?
Evelyn Ream at 3.
Hold on one second.
That's okay. I don't mind.
Okay. Can you manually turn it on?
We'll continue.
No, we want the air conditioning.
Mr. I think we need to,
Hold on a minute, hold on. Frank.
Can we take a quick recess, Mayor?
let's take a recess. Thank you. 5 minutes.
That's not us.
We're resuming. And it took 3 of us, but we did.
That's it, we got it. We got it.
Well, let's just
See,
say
we
it's
can,
not
we
completely
can do it
us.
together. Huh?
All right.
We can start address the council though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ms. Reed,
Ms. Ram?
address the council.
As soon as the rum gets quiet, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Tim, are we rolling?
Thank you. Appreciate you being quietness so we can be heard. Thank you very much. Evelyn Ream, 3 Rim Pass. We have lost our confidence in our mayor and city attorney. Let me tell you why. LDAF stands for Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry. LDF gives wood materials a BMP permit to mulch and compost. On November 3rd, public record email from the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry, wood materials submitted use of wood waste, stable waste, and coffee resins or residues in the Harahan batcher, and Joey Bro approved wood materials BMP. On January 21st, we were on the agenda and addressed the city with a speech, and we reported wood materials many activities, and one was mulching and composting facility, and asked the city for help. On January 29th, 2:07 a.m., public record email from city clerk to Joey, LDAF. She sent ordinance 1333 in your batcher and stated to Joey, LDAF, thanks for your prompt reply to my request. I've copied the following out of the zoning ordinance. As you can see, composting is not a permitted use on the batcher. On January 29, 2016, 11:18 a.m., Joey LDF replies, thank you for sending the excerpt from the Harahan, Louisiana City Ordinance. As stated in our telephone conversation earlier today, AG solid waste BMP plans must indeed conform to zoning and land use regulations. In this regard, to take the requested action of revoking Wood Materials LLC BMP, the LDAF Office of Soil and Water Conservation will require official correspondence from the city stating it has determined that Wood Materials LLC compost BMP is in violation of Harahan City Ordinance. The mayor was CC'd in this email and was fully aware of the needed official correspondence to revoke Wood Materials BMP. And Judy replied back to LDAF, we have sent the information you previously sent to our city attorney for his review. Either he or the mayor will get back with you sometime next week. If the mayor, attorney, and Kevin Johnson would have sent back to LDF official correspondence requesting Wood Materials BMP to be revoked because it conflicts with our city ordinance, zoning ordinance, Wood Materials BMP would have been revoked and removed a year ago and not brought into court. From LDAF public records, the same situation happened in St. Martin. In St. Martin, this is it. I'm sorry, I lost my place. Here it is. The LDF Public Records, the same situation happened in St. Martin on March 8, 2016. Parish officials stated to LDAF, with this in mind, I actually reconsider the current BM.
You want to have a motion?
Motion for 3 more minutes.
Thank
Can
you.
I have a motion for extended time of 3 minutes by Councilman Johnson, seconded by Councilman Bodier. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes for 3 more minutes.
From the LDF Public Records, the same situation happened in St. Martin on March 8, 2016. Parish officials stated to LDAF, with this in mind, I actually reconsider the current BMP as it conflicts with our zoning ordinance. On April 4, 2016, Joey D. LDAF revoked tree guardian BMP permit for St. Martin. Why didn't we get that help from the city? The residents of Harahan could have had the same help without any court cases from January 29 from March 2016 to December 2016. Why would our mayor and city attorney purposely tie us in court with wood materials all of 2016? And wood materials would be able to continue mulching and composting. They gave wood material what he likes, to be tied in court and continue to operate without being stopped. We asked the mayor to type a letter to agencies months before the December 7, 2016 court case. The mayor typed the letter after the judge verdict on December 11, 2016 to LDAF Joey Bro, East Jefferson Levy District Derek Bosey, and East Jefferson Levy attorney Nika Scott that she approved any and all mulching compost activity. The letter did no good because the East Jefferson Levy District attorney Nika Scott, who was the Mayor Tina's campaign manager, instructed the SLAPE commissioners to rule on the December 7, 16 court case instead of their requirement of city approval. We think the mayor knew this when she wrote her letter to the agencies. We were corresponded with only the mayor from July 2015 to December 2015, but the mayor withheld the city ordinance for us for 6 months. In January 2016, we met with all the council members for the first time. And thanks to Councilman Dana Hewitt for telling us to look up the city ordinance online. We thanked her so much for that. We could not believe the mayor did not make us aware of the city ordinance for 6 months as we worked to address the problems on the Bachelor. We asked her why she didn't tell us about the ordinance, and today she will still not answer us to why she did not tell us. We do not trust our mayor and city attorney and are very disappointed and feel let down and lack of support to the residents on this very important issue. We have no confidence in our mayor or city attorney. Mayor Tina Vaselli, can you tell us why you simply didn't send Joey Bro, LADF official correspondence from the city as the officials did from St. Martin and got the tree guardian BMP revoked? I sent you an email about 2 weeks ago, and I asked you the same question. The same question. I asked you, can I get an extension for 1 more minute?
Motion to extend 3 more minutes.
3 more minutes, thank you.
I have a motion to extend for 3 more minutes by Councilman Hewitt, seconded by Councilman Bodier. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5
Thank
yeas,
you.
0 nays. Motion passes.
We worked on this for a year and a half. We retired. A year and a half we worked on this. Diligently trying to get wood materials, to get rid of that mulching and everything else we did. I am so upset that this Public Rockets and LDAF, this could have been revoked, but instead it was purposely tied into court. And Gilbert Burris, we were there when he did the case. We sat there, and while wood materials attorney said there's 2 residents complaining, they had the 300 and something papers or signatures that we had from the residents given to her that Gilbert could have said. We also sent overview shots of the mulching composting, of the residents, sent it to Gilbert Burris. He never used that either. This case could have been won, but it wasn't won. And now the Department of Agriculture and the East Jefferson Levy District will not do anything to revoke wood materials permits because it went to court. And a judge said she's not going to stop it. So because of that, this looks to us like, wow, all of this was a play on us spending a year and a half of our life as representing the residents. When we retired, we could have traveled the world. And we're sitting here addressing this, but we got a mayor who wouldn't even respond to a simple request from the Department of Agriculture to revoke it in January 29th, 2016. So for a year, we went along with this again. I have no confidence in the mayor and the city attorney. How can we even address them? And now, right now, when we try to address anything, oh, there's a city, what? City and thing, what you call it? I couldn't. We asked for public records, can't get that. Asked for a meeting, can't get that. And there's a client city protection that you can't get nothing. Now we're closed completely to any kind of communication with the mayor or him. When we send Bureau something, oh, well, I'm under the restriction of the mayor. I can't share anything. This is ridiculous. This is totally ridiculous to end on a note like this, but we're not stopping. We're not stopping. We're going to whoever we got to go to. If we got to go to Washington, D.C., because what the mayor did was wrong. You let us down for the second time. The first time was in 2015 when we didn't know about the ordinance. And thank you, Consul Hewitt, for letting us know. Worked for 6 months with no ordinance. This is awful. How do you treat people like that? I don't understand. Write your notes down so you can say your speech at the end when we can't comment on it. That's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm sorry, let me get my timer again.
Kay Mitchell, 41 Oak Avenue. I had a very proud Harahan moment this week. One of my customers, a prime real estate agent, said, you know, did you know that you live in the second safest city in Louisiana? I'm like, no, wow. Harahan is the second safest city in Louisiana. And the reason it's the second safest city is not because of you guys, it's because of that man right there. And that man right there, and having been a previous New Orleans resident for over 25 years, I've never had a police chief drive down the street and I'm blowing leaves and say, hey, how's it going? Is everything okay? That's unheard of. It's unheard of. And once again, so that everybody gets it, so you guys get it here, we got a little pearl here. Okay, and you had an opportunity to make the pearl even nicer, and sir, you did too, and you blew it. You let us down. You spent money in court. It didn't have to be that way. You had an opportunity to help the pearl, to shine up the pearl, and you blew it. And I'm disappointed because guess what? Things just got a little nicer here now that we don't hear beep beep all night and there's less sand. Oh my God, it was getting so nice. And to shut down this nasty composting, because guess what? The only grandfather at that compost is greed. Grandfather greed and disregard for the quality of our lives. You need to fix it. Whatever went wrong, find a way to fix it because we deserve a better quality of life. And you see that lady back there? I would vote for you in a heartbeat. You got a heart bigger than Harahan. You hear me, Evelyn? And you keep going, girl, because you are fighting for the quality of our lives, and I love you for that. Shame.
Remy Donnelly, Counsel for Wood Materials. Just come to give a status update that we came here last month and did mention that we would start on the New Hall Road, and we in fact have commenced the construction of the New Hall Road. We are still waiting for the segment that runs along the river to get the permit from the Corps. We feel like we have satisfied all the latest requirements that they've put on us, did all the engineering studies that they've requested, and they've asked for additional things, and we provided them all that, and we feel like we're at that point where hopefully we'll be getting that permit soon, and we can start phase two, and phase two would be the road that goes along the river and would take away the Hall Road that runs along the levee. So I have some pictures if y'all want to pass them around. It shows you the progress of the road, where we are now and what we're doing. And it's happening, and just want to come proudly report that is something that was the main and primary request when this all started. It was about that road, and you know we have met that demand, and we're proud to say that. So thank y'all.
Jason Brusick, 7204 Stoneleigh. Can you hear me okay? Okay, all right. I'm coming up here with hopefully a very different attitude. I want to say thank you. Thank you very profusely and loudly. I want to say thank you to the council members and to Tim for working together and showing some unity in putting together a budget that affords a couple of extra officers. Hopefully one will be dedicated to traffic, right, Tim? All right. So I want to say thank you. I know that going through that budget was grueling. I know it was difficult. I know it was absolutely miserable. I know that. I've dealt with budgets before. I want to say thank you to every single one of you that did go through that budget, because it's a bear. To balance it, to rebalance it, and find a way to make it work so that we can get the extra officers that keep Harahan safe, keep the police officers safe, and keep this body, because you guys are the body of Harahan, keep this body working together. You have to work with the police. You have to work with the fire. I completely and thoroughly and totally say thank you from the bottom of my heart for working together to get it done. I have one other issue to mention, though, and it's something that was just mentioned a moment ago. And now I'm going to ask the council for a response on this. I heard that Mr. Burris said, I think you said it, Tim, just a minute ago, that the mayor has a right to review your emails? Would it be possible for the council to demand or request or require a brief from the city attorney asking for his justification for how he got there? Because my understanding of the law does not support that suggestion. And I want to see where he's coming from before I have a strong opinion about it, but I also think it would help you guys to know where he's coming from to say that the mayor can review your emails. That makes no sense to me. So I'm going to put that on you. I ask you if you could, and this, you can consider this a public records request, by the way, even though it's in person and it's not in writing. It doesn't have to be. Just so you know. This is a records request. I'm asking for that information from you here and now, and I hope to get it soon. Thank you, folks.
Jason, just so you before you leave, I don't know if you've noticed, but, and I don't know if the chief has done it, but there has been a lot of cops on that river road lately.
I have noticed.
Every night, there has been some police officers
I
over
have.
there.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
You make me look good.
So John Ream, 3 Rent Pass. Good luck on your public records request, because I put one in on last Friday and still have not gotten a response back. And all I was asking for was how much money does Wood Materials pay, did they pay in 2016 to Harahan? And I never got that back, so it was just one figure.
I'm gonna respond for you. Your public records request was too broad.
Too broad. One figure?
That's the
One
same
figure?
answer we get.
2, I just want a 2, or maybe 3.
It's too
We
broad.
probably got $3 from them last year. Because when you sell, they selling outside of Harahan. Whatever they build, whatever houses are built in Harahan, that's where they sell in Harahan. That's the taxes they pay. Everything else is sold outside of Harahan, pay no taxes on that. Okay? We lost confidence in our city attorney. Let me tell you why. We went to the December 7th, 2016 lawsuit at Jefferson Parish with the argument between Wood's attorneys, 3 attorneys, and our Harahan attorney, Gilbert Burris. We did not have an opportunity to speak, my wife and I. We went, and Robert Johnson also. And Wood's attorney said that they only had 2 residents complaining about this compost area in the back there. Well, my wife and I have 300. Gilbert Burris knows that. We gave a copy of 300, and here they are right here. We gave a copy of them to the mayor on March the 7th, last year, December 16th, 2016. We don't believe he had a strong enough case, according to the judge that judged the trial, said that we failed on all accounts that we presented. So how are we going to go into a trial when we can't even defend ourselves against this preliminary injunction? So we need something done. If we got to go through a different way, this is a nuisance. This is definitely a nuisance back there. The smell, the extra dust that's coming off of there because they don't take care of that. They water their haul roads because they're made to be watered because of DEQ. That's the only reason they're doing this thing with the road, DEQ, plus they want to save this compost and mulching business back there, which shouldn't have never been there in the first place. Now, the East Jefferson Levy District, my wife had explained that already, is using this temporary injunction that was lost by Harahan to let them go ahead and do whatever they want to do. Same thing with the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry, because they might be in contempt of court because the judge made a judgment on it. On December 7th, the judgment from the
Motion
judge.
for 3 more minutes.
I have a motion for 3 more minutes by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Bodier. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you. The judgment states that the city presented no evidence to show the alleged threatened harm to the city outweighs the harm to the plaintiffs, which the residents were never brought up. No pictures were shown as to the area affected the Harahan residents that are 340 feet from the compost area, the residents' homes. The Mississippi River Trail where people jog and babies with strollers and bikers that unaware that there's a compost area right behind the trees there, 170 feet from them, where they turn it over and it stinks. For 3 days they turn that compost over, and when the wind's blowing from the south, the southeast, the southwest, it stinks in Harahan, and people don't know where it's coming from. So we need more people up on the levee, more people with telephones, more people calling DEQ and the LDAF, more people calling Harahan City Hall, more people calling the Harahan Police Department, and let them know what's going on here so that we can come up against all these agencies that give them permits back there. We have lost confidence in the city attorney because of the case that he brought up. Also, I filled out a public records request on Friday and never got it back on just that one tax figure. My wife filled out one that she wanted to document the emails and records from January 1st, 2016 to April 30th, 2016. Still no response on that. Anything to do with wood materials from any city officials or city workers, and we never got anything back on that. Well, when we asked for the attorney, Gilbert Burris's case that he brought up, since it looked like from the court records, we can't really figure out what it was said on that, because Wood Materials brought up stuff that they were been back there since 1960, and they haven't been back there till 1980. I mean, this is the out-and-out lie. How can you put that in a court case? But it seems like they get away with things like that. But we haven't heard anything about what Gilbert brought up in the case, and it really doesn't present everything that was in the case on this file. We are representatives of the residents of Harahan for a year and a half and are working for the residents of the city of Harahan, and now we have no right for any information regarding wood materials. Whose side is the mayor and the city attorney on? Because it doesn't look like they're on the side of the residents of Harahan. So I think the biggest thing is that we need to know the judgment that the final judgment was that the judge stated that it doesn't harm the residents of Harahan. That the city is the alleged threatened harm to the city outweighs the harm to the plaintiffs, and the residents lost the case. Now, the thing is this one company back there with a few workers back there in a pile, that when they're working back there, they have to have respirators. They're supposed to have respirators on. 170 feet from them, there's people jogging on the levee.
Matt, can I make Mr. Amy Thomas up? Sorry, but I would like to ask you, can I ask Mr. a question, would you mind? Please,
Sure.
I have a question for you. I've heard you repeatedly say that we have a law on our books that does not allow composting, is that correct? Is it it's in our law?
It
We have-
says no manufacturing on the Harahan ordinance, or what we call 1333, but the municipal code, Appendix A, Section 15, is the NU Batcher District.
Right.
The only things that he's supposed to be doing back there is barge mooring, which is probably where we get most of the taxes from them.
So, but my question is, do we have, you said we
It
have
doesn't
a
come
law.
out and say there's no compost, but how are you gonna tell them, no this, no that?
Right, so.
It should say,
basically,
yes, you
We
can
have a
do
law that
it.
says no manufacturing.
Right, no,
But we went to court and lost a case because they're manufacturing. We have a law that says there's no manufacturing, but we lost a case because they're manufacturing. I'm just confused, that's all. I don't
Me
get
too.
it.
Us too. Us too. We're all confused. We're all confused. Thank you.
I'm sorry, thank you, Mr. Green.
Thank you.
Next.
Tommy Buddy, 7208 Stoneley Drive. A couple of quick comments. Chief Walker has met with Paul Johnson to come up with some signage and other suggestions to try to help reduce the speeding on Riverside Drive. I want to take an opportunity to thank the chief and to thank Councilman Johnson for their effort. And a pleasant surprise tonight, the mayor said that she's got some research on speed tables and stop signs, and she's going to provide some pricing data to the council for consideration. So Mayor, I'd like to thank you also.
That's nice to hear.
I noticed on the agenda tonight is a proposed resolution to put up on the ballot in October, a 5 mil tax, property tax for sewerage. What I'd like to do before we even discuss that, or before there's any votes on it, is for someone to prepare a financial analysis showing the revenue that's going to be generated and how it's going to be used. And I suppose that would be to replace some of the fees charged, the increase in the fee for on the water bill. And as just a point of information, tonight I've submitted a request, a Freedom of Information Act request, a little different than a public records request, for all the data on the recent sewerage fee, how the rate was, come up with. The information I've requested would include the loan covenants. As a citizen, I'd like to take a look at those documents, and I suspect it's all in order. But I'd like to know how much revenue is being generated and how it solves the problem. And I did that before this meeting, and I see we've got a resolution up for consideration, I guess, for an October ballot item. And I'd just like the public and everyone, council included, to see how this 5 mils proposed would be utilized, how much money it's going to generate, and what that does to solve the problem with the covenants with the DEQ law. That's it. Thank you.
We will now close the address the council. City Attorney Burris, I'm just going to ask if you have any comments, especially in light of some of.
You waive the attorney-client privilege?
Sure. Thank you.
I just want to set the record straight because I don't like being pilloried in the public by people who aren't lawyers. The judge has ruled that this compost heap has been out there for over 5 years. What makes it illegal is that compost heaps are not provided for in the ordinance. The ordinance says this is what you can do. Compost heaps are not included, but compost heaps are defined in your zoning ordinance. Now, when the DEQ, the Department of Agriculture and Forestry, in January of 2016, sent the letter to the mayor and sent it to Paige and said, tell us if this thing is in violation of your zoning ordinance. Just looking at the zoning ordinance isn't enough, Mr. and Mrs. Ream. You have to inquire as to whether the compost heap was a non-conforming use. That's what a lawyer is supposed to do, to see if it became a non-conforming use for being out there for more than 5 years. And when we got to court, when we got to court, all of your 300, all you have to do, go read the judge's decision. The judge's decision says that the ordinance, that the non-conforming zoning statute, the state statute, was amended post-Katrina by the lady you hired as your lawyer. That's what Wood's lawyer said.
You're defending Wood right now.
Wait.
That's what you're doing
And
right
that it's now a
That's what you did
3-year
there.
non-conforming
Why don't
use.
you go live by the compost?
You did that in court,
3-year
Doris.
non-conforming
We have
use.
no confidence in you.
Miss
The
Reed.
case is on appeal, Miss Ream.
Yeah.
The-
Oh, yeah,
the-
where?
the
What's
fi-
the
the-
date?
It's,
What's the
it's
date
on
for?
appeal to the Fifth Circuit, Miss Ream.
Okay,
It's already
show
on
us
appeal.
evidence, 'cause we can't talk
It's
to
on
you
a
at
public
all.
record. All you have to do is get on the
Yeah, we
Jefferson
can't
Parish
get
Court
public record
website.
either. We requested public record.
Just
We
get
don't
on the,
get public
just get on the
record.
JeffNet website or go down to the courthouse and look
All
it
you
up.
had to do
Mr.
was
Bruce.
win.
I'm
can
gonna
help.
ask that
You bought them
we,
more time.
there,
You bought them more time.
Excuse me.
Madam, let me tell you something. If you are accusing me of not zealously defending my
You did
client,
not zealously do.
you are running closely afoul to having my lawyer call you.
You know what?
So
We have proof of
please
it.
calm
Really?
down.
Well, you
We
have
have
the
proof
evidence.
of it.
Threats, more threats, that's what we need.
Now, I just want to assure the council, the matter is on appeal. I disagree with the judge's finding that it's a 3-year prescriptive period for non-conforming use. We think it's 5 years, and it was perilously close to 5 years because the permitting indicated that they started that operation back in 2011. So from 2011 until the time we get to court in 2016, the city of Harahan does nothing. And in opposition to our request for a preliminary injunction, your former mayor filed an affidavit supporting Wood Material. So when I hear people saying that the city hasn't been zealously defended in this case, I take umbrage. And another thing, we didn't sue Wood. Wood sued us. We countersued them over the compost heap. They sued you guys over the hours of operation ordinance, if you may recall. So our lawsuit wasn't wasting money going into court and wasting money. They sued us, and I countersued them. You didn't lose a dime.
They sued you on a citation. That's what they
Madam,
sued
you don't
on.
know what you're talking
Yes, I
about.
do.
You don't know what you're talking about. So, that is where the matter stands. It's in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. The judge has issued I asked her for written reasons for her ruling. She wrote 4 pages worth of written reasons all about the prescription issue, saying you waited too long, City of Harahan, to sue over this. You should have done it 2 years ago, before I was city attorney or she was the mayor. So that's where the matter stands. I think the judge is wrong, but that's why they make courts of appeal. And I would deeply appreciate it if you would keep from disparaging my legal abilities until such time as you have a final judgment of a court of competent jurisdiction.
thank you very much. I'd also like to say that that mulching took place while 2 of these council people were on the council. And it went unaddressed. It got addressed and is being taken care of by this administration, just as other past problems. And we will continue to fight vigorously for the rights, the health, safety, and welfare of our community. But these things are not as simple as reacting to someone saying, oh, pull this permit. You can say you can do it. When they're saying that they want something official, that means all pieces and parts, whether it's the zoning ordinance or prescription, whether it's a non-conforming use, have to be considered. No one has a crystal ball of what would have happened if, to say that we can predict what would have happened if X, Y, and Z would have taken place is not realistic. There's too many hypotheticals. Also, I went and spoke to Senator Danny Mortini. He got in touch with Commissioner Strain on our behalf about the composting. The commissioner also contacted the DEQ and assessed how the composting facility was run and the smells, nuisance, etc. And they basically got a clean bill of health. That is in a formal letter that came recently to the city. Public information requests. You can see that people are shooting to send them over left and right. Mrs. Ream and Mr. Ream asked for taxes. We're trying to do this correctly. We're in litigation. I would like everything to go through the city attorney and get a blessing. But as I listened to what they were requesting, it's tonight and what is on the public information request, they are different. They asked for what taxes they paid and what we have in possession, right? That's all we can give. They were alluding to sales tax. I have been informed by the sheriff's office that we are not privileged to who pays what in sales tax. We can request information, but I do not have those numbers. I'm not in possession. I can't give you something I'm not in possession of. So when public information requests are written, for them to be explicit and specific helps us help you. We have a small office, small number of people, and we will take each public information request and handle them professionally to get the information that you need. The bond agreement, and all the documents that was asked for, I think by Mr. Buddy, every single one of your council members have had. And 2 of them voted on it in 2013. We have been generous with the amount of time that we have afforded the Reams and anyone else, and we want to continue to be generous with our time and what information we can. But there are some issues that, if in a court of law, we cannot disclose everything or it will jeopardize the case. Public information request, we are handling. This bitterness has got to stop. Unfounded accusations and having people second guess and third guess everything when they don't have all the information and they don't know the correct information to ask for. That composting, I will say again, started prior to me taking office and was happening under the very noses of 2 council people who were on the council today. And the former mayor gave an affidavit. I am reiterating what City Attorney Bureau said. In support, saying there was, I forget exactly what the affidavit said, but granting permission, basically.
It was filed on behalf of Wood Materials.
Right, supporting who we're going up against. We've made great progress in spite of it all. If you go look at the Batcher, and we have the Reams pictures, which I am thankful for, of the first ones that they gave us, and looking at the Batcher as where they are now, we've had great improvements, and to their credit for their persistence on the issue. We've got motion and movement on moving that Hall Road, which was their #1 concern in the beginning. That we've made progress. We will continue to serve our community. Thank you, Mr. Burris, for your input.
I'd like to make a comment, please. And I mean no disrespect, but I have to say something. You work for the city of Harahan. You serve the city of Harahan and the citizens in the way you just spoke to 2 citizens who are upset of something that they've been trying to fix and remedy for over a year and a half and have spent countless hours to try and remedy and fix this. And I understand you didn't appreciate being attacked, but we are professionals and we work for this city. I have been verbally attacked almost at every meeting for the past 6 years. I take it, I smile, and I act professional and respectful. The way you just treated those 2 citizens was inappropriate and unprofessional.
The record will speak for itself on everyone's reactions and what they have said and what they haven't said and what comments they've made themselves, like liar and narcissist and accusations. The accusations have to stop. questioning someone's professional credentials is a step too far.
Do it all the time. That should be our use something else. That one.
Approval of the minutes.
Reading of the minutes of the council meeting on December 15th.
Do I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by... Do I have a second to dispense with the reading? Sue? Okay, I have a second by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? Nay. We have 3 yeas, 2 nays. Motion passes.
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on December 15th.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? Nay. We have 3 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes.
2 nays.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3 yeas, 2 nays, right? Okay, thank you.
Reading of the minutes of the special meeting on January 19th.
It was a regular city council meeting.
I'm sorry, council meeting on January 19th.
Do I have a motion to dispense with the minutes, the reading of the minutes?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? Nay. We have 3 yeas, 2 nays. Motion passes.
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on January 19th.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? Nay. We have 3 yeas, 2 nays. Motion passes. Communications?
The Board of Adjustments and Appeals did not meet in January, and the Planning and Zoning Board did not meet in February.
Thank you. Resolutions?
Proposed resolution number 2017-3. The following resolution was offered by Councilman. This is a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Harahan and JCOA.
Was offered.
Unanimous? Or?
I was hoping it's unanimous.
A resolution approving the entering into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Harahan and the Jefferson Council on Aging, Incorporated. Read it.
Do I have a motion? Do you have to read it?
Like
Okay,
3
thank
pages.
you. Okay. Do I have a motion to open a public hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Anyone wishing to speak to the resolution with this cooperative endeavor agreement for the Council on Aging? Be it that no one's wishing to speak, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Council discussion?
Yeah, I
Motion
just want to specify, this is the vehicle we got from Jefferson Parish,
Yes, it
correct?
is.
Okay, and can you explain to everybody why we're leasing, if you don't mind?
City Attorney Burris, do you want to speak to the lease agreement and specifically? We were protecting ownership of the van.
Right,
so
I
it
just
won't
want the
be
public to be
released.
known, right?
Protection of ownership,
Right.
and on top of that, it reserves the van back for our use for emergency purposes. And, you know, it gives the $1 as the lease amount.
And
I
it
just
also
want to get out there for the
Yeah,
public so
but
they
yeah,
know
we
why.
keep the top.
Because it was
And it
Jefferson
also-
Parish that gave to us, but we in turn are
Right.
leasing to the JCOA.
For a
to-
dollar.
For a dollar, yeah.
And it also puts
To cover
liability
for
on them.
liabilities, right.
So, and they're covering it with their liability insurance.
Right.
And they're going to be
Right.
paying for the driver, the gas, the liability.
Right, yeah, I understand, I just wanted to make sure that
Okay,
the public
thanks.
was aware of why.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Do I have a motion to proceed with the vote to
Motion.
accept the resolution? I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Resolution passes. We now have a van for our senior citizens, and I am so happy for that. Madam Clerk?
Proposed resolution number 2017-4. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Johnston. This is a resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the city of Harahan, state of Louisiana, to authorize the levy of a special tax therein, the avails of which shall be dedicated to the maintenance and operation of a sewage system by the city of Harahan.
Do I have a motion to open a public hearing?
Okay, I'll motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Anyone would like to speak, come and address the council? Let me get my timer too, Mr. Buddy.
I'll be done by the time you get the timer set.
Go ahead.
Good thing that draft proposal made the website, so I was able to shoot a copy of it. On a slightly negative side, all of these ordinance and proposals didn't make the website, so we got some good in the agenda, but it's not complete. So, but this article, this proposed resolution talks about a 5 mil tax, which will generate blank dollars. So again, it gets back to being so early.
Which, I know it's just trust council, but I believe I'm going to be deferring this because we're waiting to hear back from Hugh Martin. Am I correct?
Well, actually, I was going to send this to Mr. Martin after we pass the resolution so that we know we've got a resolution in place. What we need is for the numbers to get plugged into this so that
Right.
I can pass it by and say.
Right now, it's incomplete. I don't see how you could.
So we would defer this until,
defer it?
until numbers are actually presented, yeah. So
And
that's what I
and
plan
if
to do.
somebody, again, could prepare,
Right.
something for the citizens and for you guys to say, how's this money gonna be used, and why, how did you come up with that amount of money?
Right.
Why 5 mils?
Right.
The tax that fell off years ago, I think it was like 2.8 mils or something that fell off, and now we're coming back with 5 mils. So,
And over time, it was higher and it had decreased over time also.
well, that's quite possible.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chief St. Cyr, doesn't the fire department have 5 mils? And doesn't that equate or estimate to like 300 or 350,000? About 350. That's about the estimate, about 300, 350. That's an estimate.
And then your question would be, why do we need 350,000? It may be a very good.
Exactly, yep. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Address the council. Council
Well,
discussion.
now I would like to motion to defer this till next month when we get the numbers from Hugh Martin working with it. And that's it.
May I ask just some questions also though, about the, my question is several. How do you see this playing out as far as the
I'll see
DEQ
this-
loan and the,
I see it playing out by dropping the sewer fees. It
Okay.
goes on the tax bill where it's tax, you're able to write it off on taxes, and it's in escrows on majority of people's houses, so people don't get the hit of it. Every month right now, we're charging $5.75 per thousand. That's taking a big hit to everybody, so this will,
do you know
Take
how
a
much
little off.
revenue that you think is gonna?
that's why we're getting Hugh Martin involved.
But compared, what my question is, compared to what we have to generate and what this will generate, do you have an estimate of how much you think
Sorry,
this
what were
could drop the sewer rates?
I do not know. That's why we're getting Hugh Martin involved, figure out how much we're gonna get, and I decided to defer it right now.
And, well, these are just food for
Right.
thought questions.
I'll have more answers for you once Hugh Martin gets with me and we work it out.
I'll second the motion for deferment.
I have a motion to defer to the next city council meeting in March, which is the 16th, I believe. Yes. By Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion to defer is passed. Let's see. Prior to moving on to ordinances for approval, I would like to make a few comments. October 2016, I provided the mayor's proposed budget for 2017 and amendments to the 2016 budget that were mandated by law. The law states that the next year's budget must be adopted prior to the year it takes effect. Thus, the 2017 budget had to be adopted prior to January 1, 2017. The law provides the minimal requirements for budget preparation, including content, format, principles that must be followed. At the November 2016 council meeting, 4 councilmen stated they had no intention of passing the 2017 budget prior to the end of 2016, a clear violation of state law, and rejected the mandatory 2016 budget amendments they were required to adopt due to changes in operations, another clear violation of state law. At January 2017 council meeting, Councilman Johnston presented 112 amendments to the mayor's proposed budget. Councilman Johnston did not seek the input from the city's finance administrator or the city attorney. This administration, its professionals, and Councilman Benton were not allowed the common courtesy to even see the amendments prior to the meeting. All 112 amendments were accepted and passed into law. The only council person to question the amendments and vote against passing the budget as amended was Councilman Benton. I subsequently vetoed the amended budget on January 23rd. The amendments violated the Larson Act, that is the city's charter, and the Louisiana Local Government Budget Act. The amendments did not allow for public input or inspection, failed to apply sound accounting principles, did not fund line items for a full year, created a less than full-time court, that would be the first time in history of Harahan, and completely defunded all capital projects that would make it impossible to operate day-to-day operations and provide services to the community. Personnel numbers were increased for fire and police, but payroll taxes, salaries, insurance, and retirement required for those positions were not. The budget amendments did not address the rising health insurance costs, thus setting the city up for yet another summer fight over increasing this line item to ensure employees their coverage would not be cut when the new health care insurance rates come in. Additionally, by not adopting the required 2016 budget amendments, the city cannot apply the appropriate starting and ending balances for funds to the 2017 budget. These budget battles have cost the city dearly. Precious time, attention, and money has been and will continually be lost redoing budgets instead of the work of the people and meeting day-to-day workloads. Without a budget in place, the financial work for the city is brought to a halt. The same people who complain that they are not receiving financial information in a timely manner are the same people who cause the delays to occur. The same people who call for transparency do not provide it, but instead inundate the administration's team with unreasonable and repeated demands of documentation. These same people who say they are not included in the process reject invitations to participate. I fervently state our city deserves better. Madam Clerk, please proceed with ordinances for approval.
All right, let's see. The following ordinance, this is ordinance number 1822 that was vetoed by the mayor. The following ordinance was proposed unanimously by the council of the city of Harahan. It's an ordinance adopting the annual budget of revenue and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017 for the city of Harahan, Louisiana.
This vote is putting the ordinance as amended up before the council again. It must be overridden with 2/3, 4 of the council members. So 4 of the 5 have to vote. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. We are now open to public hearing.
I still only got 3 minutes? Yeah. Just checking. All right. Just a little bit ago, I didn't realize that you had vetoed this, Mayor. I guess it didn't click until just a few minutes ago when you started mentioning it, and I was reading over today's agenda. I said thank you to you guys for all the work that you put in just a little bit ago, and I mean that sincerely. I would like to see this budget as amended approved by you guys because it puts more police officers on the ground. And with all due respect to Gilbert's skills and Ms. Lulu's skills, I'm sorry, y'all don't deserve $130,000 for the year. I could hire a full-time accountant and a bookkeeper for that much. So, I'm sorry. Gilbert, I have no idea how much you're making, but I'm sure it's a lot more than $20,000.
Would you like to hear it, Mr. Brusick? I think Councilman Wheeler got my billings for last year. How much did the city of Harahan pay last year, Mrs. Wheeler?
The checks totaled, I think it was right about 21,000. However, I will say, when I counted the months, there was a large number of gaps, and maybe bureaus did not bill the city.
No, I billed it, but I
Yeah.
billed it maybe once every 3 months or so. But yeah, that's about it, Mr. Brusick.
So it's
You got-
more than
I
20,
billed
but not much more.
$175 an hour, which is $50 less than the Attorney General approves for lawyers with my experience serving public entities. Would you like to know anything else about my billing to the city of Harahan?
No, I'll do it. Public records request.
And you know what? It might be objected to on grounds that it has attorney-client privilege.
I'll let you redact it. So, point being is I just don't think that some of those line items are really justifiable when, like I said, I know in one particular case, because we've done it, we can hire accountants and bookkeepers for within, and actually for less than $130,000. And to put that money into police officers, that's a good investment.
I don't know where we'll talk numbers later.
Sure. It's just from the conversation and listening to this council.
Not true.
That's where I'm getting it, by the way, is from the things I've heard, watching the videos again. And this is what we have to work with, folks. I'm just a citizen. I'm not on that side of the bench.
Excuse me, Jason, I can answer that question for you. And I
Thank
also
you.
did a public request for the total number of checks cut for attorney bureaus for 2016. I also asked the total for the checks cut for Miss Linda Lulu for 2016. And in my calculations, I don't have them figure, it was approximately 104,000 was the total checks for 2016.
Like I said, I can hire a full-time accountant and a bookkeeper for $104,000. But,
Give or take, don't quote me, but I
Sure.
believe that's around the figure where it was at.
sure. So, to my mind, like I said, if we have the excess beyond what's normally been paid, for the love of God, hire the accountant and put the rest of the money into the police. That's what makes Harahan great, is the safety on the streets. No offense, it's not the accounting skills or the legal skills. It's just not. Gilbert's a great lawyer. I agree. I like Gilbert. I've known Gilbert for quite a while. But the police are more important. They just are. They're what make Harahan great. Please approve the budget. I'm asking you to, because it adds the extra police officers. It makes us more safe. Hopefully, like I said, Tim, we'll put an extra police officer on the streets. Thank you.
Lee Brown, President of the Harahan Firefighters Association. Hopefully, Mr. Brusick wants to see a couple more firemen on the street also.
Yes.
Over the last few months, we've had the opportunity to sit down with quite a few of y'all, council and the mayor, and we've laid out some things that we need. The council found a way to maybe try and figure that out. We haven't had a raise since 2006. A lot of us now bring home less than what we did in 2006 because of federal tax breaks and rising insurance costs. Our paychecks are lower than what they were in 2006. That's not what we're asking for. We're asking for more manpower. We need to find a way to come up with these two guys. We lost a gentleman in 2013, never replaced. We lost a gentleman again in 2014, never replaced. These are not new employees. These are employees that over the years, we've had attrition and they just haven't been replaced. We need to find a way. I think I know what's gonna happen with this vote tonight, even after the vote. I just wish we'd all come together and try and figure it out. Thank you.
Mr. Brown, thank you. I want you to know, we proposed a budget that added a firefighter and a police officer and funded retirement, et cetera, and payroll taxes, so that we could do it and start getting to where we needed to be. And then hopefully, we could reassess it in a few more months to see where we are at that point.
And I remember speaking to you about that. I remember.
I just want you to
we
know.
We need to get the ball rolling.
I agree. I agree.
So, thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Hold on, Mr. Shadowing, let me get mine. Okay, thank you.
Eric Chatelain, 700 Colonial Club Drive. The budget needs to pass. I believe y'all can amend the budget every month. I watch other cities, they amend the budget every month. If we took the city out of a $1.2 million deficit in 2 years, we ought to have extra money. I say that every month. I mean, I don't believe we took the city out of a $1.2 million deficit, but if we did, we should have extra money here. Different things you could do. I know we need a city attorney. I know we need a city accountant. I know we need city employees. Everyone has taxes and insurances to pay. Everyone needs a raise. The money's not here. Budget needs to be passed. Amend the budget every other month if you have to. You'll find a way to work it out. You just got to work together to work it out. Thank you.
Mayor and council, I presented the budget for the Harahan Police Department. Prior to doing that, we met with Ms. Lulu, and when you said the payroll expenses are not included in the proposed police department budget, it is. We got the figures from Ms. Lulu, so if they're incorrect, we were given incorrect figures. But the payroll expenses are included in what we proposed. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to close address the council?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Ms. Lulu, would you like to speak, please?
I had provided the council and Chief Tim and Chief Todd a spreadsheet that showed what it would cost to have 1, 2, and 3 additional officers. And across that spreadsheet, it showed salaries, overtime, holiday pay, longevity, the different payroll taxes, insurance, and workers' comp. When we got the council amendments, we sat here and went side by side, the amount of money that we had originally for salary, the amount of money they had put for salary. We see a difference. I look and I see. What they're saying is one additional person, because we already gave one to the police. They're saying another additional person is in there. It wasn't even a full person. The payroll taxes did not go up. I believe for the police department, it actually went down a smidge, which doesn't make any sense. For the fire department, I had given them one additional person. They said they gave them another additional person, so that should be 2. But the numbers of the salary increase from what we gave versus what they gave is like 3 3/4 of a person. And again, payroll taxes did not change from what we had to what they had. And health insurance across the board did not go up. It went back to whatever the budget was for 2016. But we know from historical facts that at the 6-month mark, around June, July, it goes up at least 10%. And we are required to make sure that we budget to the best of our ability for an entire year. So we're not doing that with this current council amended budget. Not to mention the court, which is decreasing salaries, which would cut court costs to half-time, which we're not allowed to do by law. And the capital project budget going down to 0, not only is that, again, not allowing for a full year of operations, you're not allowed by law not to have a capital project fund. So I do not stand behind these numbers in any way, shape, or form.
City Attorney Burris, we've had numerous discussions with Ms. Lulu, you and I directly, about the budgetary process and the law, et cetera. Do you have any additional information that?
Well, I believe I put my observations on the applicability of the Local Governmental Budget Act in writing to the council members. So they have my position on what I believe to be the proper procedure. Whether it has been followed or not in this instance, I will discuss with them in private. But if they have any questions about me, I'll entertain.
Before this vote proceeds, I truly believe that we're at an impasse. That the city deserves to have numbers that an accountant and CPA can sign off on. And that they can argue to the legislative auditor and the city auditor and defend. The city council, if they have questions about this budget and how the law applies, there is money in a line item for this council to hire its own attorney. I would suggest that you do so. And that way, your attorney can speak with the city attorney to discuss these legal matters.
I was gonna say, that's funny, Mayor, because we tried to do this last time, and your exact words were, if a check came across my table for a council attorney, I would not pay them. That was said.
She said.
When you take a piece of
It was right for you.
information, that was pertaining to, trying to basically supplant the mayor's ability to appoint a city attorney and seek confirmation of the council.
We wanted to hire our own council attorney, which we had budgeted for, and your exact words were, if we were to hire one, you were not gonna sign their paycheck.
Exactly.
At that,
Exactly
in that
what was said.
particular circumstance, this, I believe, is very warranted.
Councilman Baudier is telling me that that happened before my time. But
Absolutely,
I
yes.
believe I told you guys when I took the job, if there's an impasse where y'all can't resolve it, to hire a spec.
They're not gonna get paid.
They will get paid, we'll sign a contract, you have it in the line item.
Now
I
you
want to
will.
get paid.
You wouldn't
You know,
then, but now you
Councilman
will.
Benton asked if we could submit this to mediation, and I went, well, you need a lawyer looking at the same thing I'm looking at and see if we can't come to some sort of resolution. Because, look, in the Congress of the United States, there is a budget reconciliation project, process, and in the state legislature, there are conference committees that get together and work out budget impasses between the House and the Senate. So it's not unheard of, but the Local Governmental Budget Act doesn't provide any kind of reconciliation process. You're gonna have to make up your own. But it may be money well spent. And basically what I think it's going to require is working together. You decide that, this is what the numbers actually look like, this is what rational accountants can support, and this is the format it has to be in. My concern over the amendments is one that has to deal with, and I set it all out, every little piece of the Local Governmental Budget Act that says, you gotta go back and amend it so it looks like what you got in the first place. And to do that, you have to go back and deal with an accountant who says, this is a rational revenue projection. So it's a technical problem with, I think, the process that's being implemented here. But like I said, if I had another lawyer to talk to who's representing your position on it, maybe we can resolve something.
That might happen soon.
I would wish that the council would contemplate that and, so that we can stop this infighting and really get something accomplished. I think it would be a good thing.
I'd like
Well-
to speak on a few things, if I can.
Sure.
First thing is everybody has their opinion. That's fine. I can deal with people's opinions of me. Some people like me, some people don't. That's just the bottom line to it. But the thing is that I'll call out when I feel that it's borderline defamation on me, if it's not defamation, saying in the Safe Harahan letter that I am breaking the law by the Sunshine Law. That is just totally ridiculous. People meet. I can meet with Councilman Wheeler one time. The next time I can meet with Baudier. You don't meet all together. And to be called out in that letter is just totally ridiculous by saying that I was breaking the law. That is
Well, they
ridiculous.
assume that, Craig.
Right, they assume it, but to put it in writing, is, that's it.
I've
Okay.
already made my statement on that several times, Councilman Johnson, that it's not save Harahan. Let's see how much we can hurt or destroy Harahan. We spend as much hate as we possibly can spend, because if you throw a lot of smoke over here, you can't see what nobody's doing over there.
Right. All right, then let's move on from that and let's go through with this. The police numbers, as Chief Walker had said, were supplied to him, I apologize, supplied to him by Ms. Lulu. Those are the numbers we used. We might have brought a couple numbers down from what was originally projected, but those are the numbers we used. So if the numbers are wrong, then that's coming from Ms. Lulu. Secondly, court. We dropped the budget down to the one full-time employee. the mayor and also Councilman Benton are up here knocking Tim Walker, Chief Walker, saying that he is not pulling enough money into courts by writing tickets. So if he's not pulling enough money into courts, yeah. If he's not pulling enough money into courts, why do you need more people? So we brought it down to the one full-time employee that's there. We didn't have enough money for the part-time employee. So we're not cutting full-time court. We cut it to the one person. It's your option on what you want to do with the money. Well, I can't tell you what to do with the money. I could just put it in the line. Capital projects. Always in the past, it's always been done by ordinance. No, it's never been capital, this is how much we're going to do for the whole year. I never caught it before, I've caught it now. We do it by ordinance. When something comes up, a street needs repaired, something happens, which is going to be later on for first reading, a door breaks at maintenance. Write an ordinance, we pull the money from capital and put it where it needs to go. That's done on a need to basis. So to say that you need a capital budget in place, no zeros, that's unheard of. I never heard of that before.
I'd like to say something. I do think the sunshine laws were broken by a straw poll because you all knew and approved of those amendments before you came to this meeting. That is breaking the sunshine laws. So you did, by straw poll.
I didn't do a straw poll. I met with Councilman Wheeler.
A straw
Sat down with her.
Look up
I
the
talked to her.
definition, Craig. Look up the
A
definition.
straw poll is saying, are you going to vote for yes, yay, or nay? That's a straw poll.
It's knowing
And I did not do that.
how you're going to
And
vote.
for you to call me out for that is just totally ridiculous also.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Yeah, let's move
So you'd say that the numbers were provided by Ms. Lulu. Will you all change those numbers?
We lowered a couple. We kept everything else that was.
So maybe you can help me with this. You gave the police and the fire each one new employee. Yet the salary line.
Two.
Well, additional, over and above.
Over.
Over and above. So but the salary line for the fire was raised by $81,337.
That's because we were told, I talked to Chief Walker, he says each person costs about $51,000. We went from the previous salaries, it was at 313, and projected was only raising it to 330 and change.
I thought you
This
just
is-
said
this
that
is-
Ms. Lulu provided the numbers, though.
I said,
That was
please,
the police.
please.
But this is the thing. Fire, you raised for one employee $81,337.
No, because they said that they had one
No,
employee
that's-
added to it, but you were at
That's what
313, you went up to
raised it.
330,
That's
so.
what the amendment raised it. Your line item on your amendment raised Ms. Lulu's line item by $81,337 for an additional fireman. On top
I
of.
was told how much each employee is costing, just like Mr. Chatelain
So
came up and
then-
said, we can
so
amend and
then-
move that money around to go to the parts that it has to go
Craig,
to.
can I just, you've had.
Don't ask me that. Just speak how you want to
So-
speak. You're making it look like this is a back and forth conversation, but it's not. You don't want me
Okay,
to answer,
so-
you just
so
want to state. So go
Police
ahead.
salaries were raised, Ms. Lulu's line item was raised only $13,236. So how can you raise
answering.
fire by $81,337 for one additional employee, and police only $13,236 for an additional police officer? Then holiday pay for police, and for fire, no changes were made to Ms. Lulu's numbers for FICA match, group hospitalization, retirement, workman's comp. All of those numbers on 81,000 should have gone up significantly, and they didn't. And then for the police, I don't understand it. 13,000 for a new police officer. Holiday pay went up $36,643. Police retirement match was reduced by $22,198. How do you reduce retirement when you've added an employee? And that's a big number, $22,198.
Lulu and Chief Walker.
No, that's your number, Craig.
Why don't you ask Ms. Lulu and Chief Walker?
No, it's your
Talk from
number.
police.
It's your number.
Talk about from police.
It's your number.
Okay.
It's what you.
I'm sorry.
It is what
Let's send it back and
you
forth. I'm sorry.
reduced the line item that Ms. Lulu provided. That's what that is. She provided her line item for one additional officer. You changed it to two additional officers, and yet you reduced the police retirement match by $22,198.
That makes absolutely no sense to me. Group hospitalization for police reduced $3,788. How do you reduce group hospitalization when you've added a new employee? Medicare match reduced $344. Workers' comp, you added 144, which, that's not going to touch workers' comp for a new employee. So I just thought if I put some numbers to what we're trying to say here is that this budget doesn't make any sense anymore. It's completely out of line, and it feels to me like they wanted to provide these two new employees, and I commend them for that. But you can't just juggle numbers to get a budget to balance because you want 2 new employees, which is what you did. And that's all I have to say on it.
And this, I compare this to, some simple things when you're budgeting and you want to go buy a car. And the car, and you're only going to budget for the note. You don't budget for maintenance, the tires, the insurance, or whatever, and gas, interest, etc. There's no accountant. Miss Lulu and I have talked. She's a CPA, governmental award-winning CPA, cannot stand by these numbers. We've asked, who is your expert, who's your accountant, who is standing by the numbers that you have created? Because our fire and police deserve retirement. Not only that, that is breaking federal law.
I like the motion for the vote.
I'm not finished. I'm in between. I'm talking still. This
Call
is
the
breaking
question.
federal law, not funding retirement properly.
I call the
It
question.
breaks federal law not to fund payroll taxes
Mr.
properly.
Barris, I know in your email you said that it has to have the opinion of the mayor, that you can't give us an opinion without the mayor's approval. I'm calling for the question, and you're going to tell me about your opinion?
Excuse me, well, she's the,
Presiding
she's
officer.
the presiding officer,
Mhm.
and.
So if I want an opinion right now, I have to go through her?
Wait, I'm trying to think through what Robert's Rules of Order calls for.
Call the question, its vote comes
I don't know
up.
if you can call a question, I think you can.
I motion,
I think you can
Ms. Hewitt
move to have her held
seconded.
out of order and then call the question. If she refuses to yield the floor, which is apparently, if you yield the floor, the question's over. But if she refuses to yield the floor, I think a motion to rule the speaker out of order takes precedence. You get a second for that and a vote, then you.
Motion to rule the speaker out of order.
I have a motion to rule myself out of order by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 4 yeas, 1 nay. Motion passes.
Call the question. Yep, calling the question.
I'm.
The question is,
What is the
Calling the vote.
shall the
Is-
budget ordinance as amended be passed, the mayor's veto notwithstanding?
So you're calling for a vote on the budget amendment. So there's a motion to pass the budget as amended by Councilman
Johnston.
Johnston, seconded by
Second?
Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 4 yeas, 1 nay. The veto is overridden, and the budget for 17 is approved by 4 members of the council. I would like to state that I am in clear objection, and there will be steps taken to remedy the situation. Madam Clerk?
Proposed ordinance number 2017-1. The following ordinance was proposed unanimously by the Council of the City of Harahan. An ordinance approving the re-subdivision of 6489 Jefferson Highway and 194 Hickory Avenue, lots 27A, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33, Square E, Harahan City Subdivision, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, made by All South Consulting Engineers LLC dated November 2nd, 2016. It's not in there.
The Planning and Zoning Board did approve this re-subdivision. Do I have a motion to open a public hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. It's open to public hearing. If there's no one wishing to speak to this, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Council discussion? Since there's no council.
I just believe this is a new business coming to Harahan. I wanted to say congratulations, and if you need any help, please contact me. I'd love to help you. Thank you very much.
Do I have a motion to proceed with the vote?
Motion.
One quick question. I know you mentioned earlier, do you
There's
have
a
an
motion on the.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I withdraw my
Oh.
motion. Go ahead.
Do you have an estimated date of when it'll be up and operating?
I'm guesstimating
Okay.
middle of April,
Okay. Well, I know people are very anxious.
And I'd like to thank you. It's a great expansion and use of the property. We're looking forward to this new business. Welcome.
It's gonna be very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much. I appreciate it.
It's coming along nicely, too.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Do I have a motion to proceed with the vote?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Bodier, seconded by
I'll take it.
Councilman Johnston. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Your resub is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Yes, sir.
very
Thank you.
much.
All right, proposed ordinance number 2017-2 was not advertised. So it has to be advertised in order to move to a vote.
I'm sorry?
It has to be advertised in order to be
Right,
able to
so I
vote
have to
on the
defer.
ordinance. Yes, so defer. Motion to defer.
Do we have to open the public hearing before we motion to defer? Okay, well, I motion to defer that till next month's meeting.
Does it get deferred, or does it get withdrawn and redone?
If it gets withdrawn, it would have to come back up for first reading.
Right.
So I'll defer it. Motion to defer.
I'm just asking for,
Yeah, you can defer it and advertise it, and it'll be in order for consideration.
Motion to defer to March.
okay. I have a motion to defer to March 16th, regular city council meeting by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Hewitt. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? I have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion to defer passes.
And ordinances for introduction. Proposed ordinance number 2017-3. The following ordinance was proposed unanimously by the council of the city of Harahan. An ordinance amending, where are we at? An ordinance amending the annual budget of revenue and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2016 for the city of Harahan, Louisiana. And proposed ordinance number 2017-4, an ordinance to amend the capital budget for the year 2017 of the city of Harahan by transferring funds from line 341-4-115-40900, which is highways and street maintenance, to line 010-4-115-44-700, which is building repairs and maintenance, for the purpose of purchasing a capital expense item. Proposed ordinance number 2017-5, an ordinance to amend and reordain ordinance number 53, sewage district number 1 of the city of Harahan and the Harahan Municipal Code, Chapter 90, Article 2, Division 2, User Charges, Section 90-58, Schedule of Charges, providing for a change of user charges for services rendered by the said sewage district.
Thank you. Councilman Bodier, if you don't mind, you proposed ordinance 2017-5 on the sewer user charges. I asked you for your supporting information. Will you be getting that to me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. How did you requested some of it, Harahan? You see the email. I don't read it.
We need the supporting documents, what budget adjustments, and how are you justifying the numbers? How does this meet the bond requirements? We want to know, have you sought approval or input from the DEQ, from the bond attorney, for the DEQ, our bond attorney, et cetera? We're going to need all that information to send it forward to the DEQ. I cannot, Mr. McFarland has requested that documentation so he can evaluate.
Mr. Paul hasn't requested anything from me.
He's requesting for the information, and we can't send it forward because we don't know what your,
Public record requesting?
we cannot put forward your ordinance and explain its application without the information.
I'll give you a brief overview real quick, and I can tell you why this ordinance came about. And, because I think I have a much better understanding of the dynamic of the city than you do. We have a very elderly community
We
here.
do.
And, a lot of people are on fixed incomes. And I gotta tell you, Mayor, I've been elected 3 times. I'll be sitting here for a long time, and I'm not in this to hurt people. I've never gotten in government to hurt people. I got in government to help people, and the fees that were proposed on these people through projections that Ms. Linda Lulu put out there is ridiculous. Projections are a guesstimate. We got $500,000 sitting in capital, but yet we're using that money to put into bond, to go against what we need in this bond and shooting these rates higher, because it's making us guarantee that money. I believe capital project money's there to do capital projects. I don't think we need to make a loan against money we already have. And that's just basically where I go, but I will provide you with all the numbers shortly.
You made the loan. You approved the loan.
Let me tell you something. We got ambushed here with the DEQ because this mayor held that letter for over a year saying something.
Tim, prior to her administration,
Right,
you
I
approved that
Mr. Beers, this is
loan.
first reading. We're not supposed to be talking right now. It's first reading.
Yes, first read. Thank you. Thank you, Craig.
Yeah.
Old business,
No business.
new business,
Harahan Athletic Association rental lease agreement.
I read the lease agreement and I have several concerns about it. Mr. Burris, addressing liability. We can give you a moment.
Here, I'll make sure you have the list.
Do you want to take a 5-minute recess to read it?
Yeah, the one
Or-
separate from your packet.
Right, but it was emailed to people on Friday.
Yes.
Just the only thing that changed was the change in the term. No, I understand. But everybody got a copy on Friday.
I have some questions for y'all about this. I take it this has been a long-standing arrangement. This has been going on for years where this athletic association runs city property.
There's,
Craig,
Mr. Burris,
Is
somebody
this
here.
the one that-
That's the one.
this is the-
That's the one.
Can
Somebody
someone
from the
explain
Harahan.
the genesis of why this is now on the table for us to talk about?
Yeah, somebody from the Harahan Athletic
Well, there-
Association is here to do so.
Come on up.
There was a agreement prior, I believe. You have to go and pull out the old information.
I never seen the agreement. I'm Eric Chatelain, the president of the Harahan Athletic Association. I never seen the agreement prior. When this mayor took office, we came in, sat down with us, and she asked us to get an agreement together. It took us a while to get an agreement together because we had to get some nonprofit tax status stuff straight.
Do you have that, your 501c3?
We have all of that, yes, sir. So it took us probably a year, a little over a year to get that straight. This is a volunteer position.
Yeah,
No one there does full-time work, so it is a slow-moving process.
I got you. Well, just let me give you the broad parameters of this. The state constitution says that things of value of the public entity shall not be loaned, pledged, or donated. So, lease agreements, as the AG has advised.
Mr. Beers?
Lease agreements, the AG has opined in a lot of different opinions, have to more or less be a fair market value, or there has to be some sort of equivalency. So I don't know if $1 a year is that. I don't see an insurance clause in here, which gives me some concern. I mean, do you guys have premises liability insurance that we're named as additional insureds on?
We do not. We contacted to get insurance
Uh-huh.
because we contacted to get insurance on the kids and all. They said the city of Harahan holds the insurance on the building and the kids' liability on the grounds.
But that's for events sponsored by the city of Harahan. You're a third party coming in. What kind of events do you run?
Fundraisers, sock hops, stuff like that.
How long has this been going on?
The sports
I mean,
events,
is
we
this
do
a
not,
customary
we do not,
thing in
we do
Harahan?
not handle the sports event, like any basketball tournaments and all, that's ran through the city of Harahan.
And it's a-
We help,
and it
you know, with
raises
them.
funds too, so.
I mean, we run the concession stands, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And
Gil,
the,
oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Peters, are you saying that the
The association doesn't put on the baseball tournaments. Normally the city hosts, you know.
and the Inspector General,
We do a fundraiser like the jambalaya cook-off, stuff like that, car show. We do them kind of things.
But do you have, you've got 501c3 status.
Yes.
Do you have a policy of insurance in place that will name us as an additional insured?
I do not think so.
Okay, that's really my biggest concern.
that was my concern when we
for the
talked
city.
or-
And you know,
originally.
they're not terribly expensive, but my advice to the city is going to be, you really should have that in place. Think we can do that before the next council meeting?
Oh, I'm not promising you nothing. I mean, I'll try.
When's your next event?
Or we're not having any events basically until this is all agreed upon. I mean, since we haven't had a sock hop since we were asked to get this developmental agreement in place. We did have one jambalaya cook-off because it was planned prior to.
Do y'all ever do alcoholic beverage service?
Normally, when we do that, we come in and get a special permit for that.
Special event permit?
We do not have alcohol at the playground on a normal basis. No, sir.
So Gil, can they just amend the agreement to say that they will supply their own? Because I know you mentioned something about the consideration of $1. Well, we just passed a resolution for the $1 on the van.
Yeah, you usually gussy that up with language about the benefits to the community from having this, and, so that there's.
No,
there's
I'm just saying if it needs to be amended.
We need to amend it. We really need to have an insurance clause in place. I really strongly suggest that you get an insurance clause in place. Get them insured because they're not the city. They're somebody else.
Right.
And have
Like a liability
a
policy?
liability policy, a CGL policy, commercial general liability
There were
policy.
concerns because they also talked about overnight events with children spending the night,
No,
et cetera.
never talked me.
Okay.
Well, that was, that was.
A sock
part
hop,
of
a sock hop.
conversation.
They go home at 10 o'clock. Nobody sleep. I'm not.
Can we vote on this
I
contingent
gotta watch my kids.
upon
I'm not watching nobody else.
them getting,
Could we defer it to the next meeting?
Let's defer it to the next meeting. I'd really like to have this a little bit more formalized.
Can someone further explain the concession stand to me? Does that mean at this time we don't have a concession stand?
We have a concession stand that we normally run out of, and we handle, the sales and stuff out of concession stand. One of the issues we have right now is we had keys to the gates, all the gym, and to get to the concession stands. We don't have keys to any of that. We still have keys to the concession stand, but basically for me to get to the concession stand, I need to break in the gym or jump the fence. I asked for keys over a month ago, spoke to the mayor. She told me she'd get back with me then 2 days later. You said you would get together Friday, you'd call me, and we never talked. But you said there's a process. We willing to go through the process. We have 5 board members. We're looking for the process for 5 board members to have keys to get
And
access.
I think we need to have this, and we want you to have access. We want our kids to be able to use, the facility, et cetera. We just, want to make sure that the keys are signed out.
So
That's
you
all.
had a
'Cause I
key
said
at one
that
time and it
They
was taken
changed.
away?
No, they changed all the locks.
When were the locks
Huh?
changed?
I just want some salty popcorn.
And also, Mr. Burris, on the agreement, is a city employee going to be required to be at the events at the time of the events? I mean, what kind, you know what I'm saying, as far as liability, et cetera?
Well, one of the things that occurs to me now that this is coming up for discussion is that we need to take a look at our own policy and see what the exclusions are. We want to make sure that our own coverage is in place and it's not requiring us to do something like keep an employee in place. So let's take
Well, they
a
have
look at
parties there, and they don't need an employee while they're having parties there, so.
Yeah, but who's responsible for locking up, and then who's responsible for cleaning up?
Shelter rentals, they come pick up key, I believe,
Right.
and they have the keys to the shelters and bathrooms. And
And this is done. The gym is run under the auspices of what department?
Recreation department.
Recreation.
I think we.
This is our first step. If we have to amend something and do something,
well,
this is our
it's something
first step.
that
We
they
were
do.
asked to do this. We're trying to move forward with it.
Are y'all still able to operate without doing this tonight?
Unless you tell us no.
Nobody's telling you that.
If he can get a cue.
I thought I told you to come by,
No, I thought we were gonna get together, and I just haven't heard anything, so.
You know, to do a sign
I don't think we
up.
should make it hard for the president of
No.
the Harahan Athletic Association.
Right, which
to
helps
get
the
into
kids.
No, we
Right.
don't want
Jumping
that.
fences
To
and
do
breaking
things
into
for our
buildings.
I'm not
president.
jumping the fence.
We
I
don't
mean,
want you to
come
break
on.
any bones or anything. So do I have a motion to defer,
Motion.
till March 16th meeting? I have a motion by Councilman Wheeler, seconded by
Second.
Councilman Johnston. All in favor?
Yay. Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. And thank you very much. And so,
We'll get it straightened out.
Yeah. Thank you.
okay.
Let's make a motion to give him a key.
You just have to come by, Eric, and we'll sign it out and do it. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
I'll be here Monday.
Do it Monday. Okay. Address the council. Would anyone like to come and address the council?
In regards to
Please
Pierce's
state your name and
comments,
address.
Evelyn Reed, Pass. In regards to the attorney's speech, I believe, and in my opinion, you did not fight for the residents. I believe, and in my opinion, that when Woods Materials said there's 2 people who are complaining that this could have been shown. This is not 2 people. Anybody can see this. This is not 2 people. This is a lot of people. And I believe that would have persuaded a judge. I believe, and in my opinion, that the pictures of this mulching compost overhead and the large amount of residents that were there would have been a good thing to show to the judge. I believe, and in my opinion, as I sat there and walked out the courtroom, and I said, what happened just now? Because it was very short. And Gilbert Beer stated to me, we lost. And because we lost, now we have agencies who won't help and obey their own requirements. Both those agencies, Department of Agriculture and the other agency, these chefs will not be doing. I believe, and in my opinion, Gilbert Beers could have did a stronger case for us. And right now, that mulching compost would be gone. But instead, the residents still have this unhealthy thing here. So I believe, in my opinion, that it could have been better, and we could have won. So that's why I'm up here right now to speak. Because I'm very disappointed as a resident and as a representative of the residents of Harahan, that now there's a client attorney privilege, so we don't know nothing no more. Because everything we ask for, whether it's a public record research or any comment we have to make, it will always come back with, it's public, it's the attorney and client. So we blocked out. We blocked out. Representatives of the residents of Harahan gave a year and a half to be blocked out. And I sat at that trial, and I listened to that short argument, and we had no right to be able to get up and speak. But the 2 people that Wood Material said, we were the only ones. Because in my opinion, if Gilbert Burris would have come back at the argument and said, it's not 2 people, they're representatives. They have over 300 signatures that was given to the mayor in March. I think it's a sad thing. I think it's a sad, sad thing that we have to deal with a mulching composting. And Remy right now, he's got great things, great
Motion
things.
for more time?
Thank you.
Miss Evelyn, yeah, you had 9 minutes earlier, so
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't.
That's okay, but I think that they're doing the road because they want to keep the mulching.
Thank you. We'll have to take a recess then. We're going to take a 5-minute recess.
Did they have an agreement, parents organization? Can you dig it up?
For, during address the council,
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Mr. Reed?
John non-rated free rent pass. I understand on the radio that Wood Material is advertising the sale of compost at his Harahan site. I don't believe he has a retail license to sell in Harahan. I know he has a wholesale license, but he doesn't have a retail license. And the people go back there in this nasty place and pick up compost. Down this old, dirty, muddy road, they're gonna break an axle on that road, going back down to get this nice gold compost that they got back there, without, selling without a permit. Now, what kind of permits do they have back there? I think they only have one thing, is to sell wholesale, and it's just a blanket, contract, permit. So I think Harahan needs to look into this. I think the councilman might need to investigate this and find out what's going on. I think the police chief needs to look at this too, and find out, this looks like he's panhandling back there behind the levee. What do you do with panhandlers? So, I think something needs to be done, and
Let me address that.
You want to finish giving him his time? I just want to make sure that we're.
Several months ago, the mayor had a meeting, a closed-door meeting with all the officials from the levee board of East Jefferson to handle the problems on the levee, and the Harahan Police Department was excluded. So,
Wow.
okay, also, we addressed the Southeastern Louisiana Flood Protection Authority, which is over the East Jefferson Levee District, and I requested of them that they get their police officers to help Harahan, because their police officers, 365 days a year, travel that levee, and they see what's going on behind the levee. They can report sand to DEQ and to Harahan, because now we have environmental permit of whatever, you know, if you violate that, with too much sand and dust coming over the levee, that maybe we could put a fine on them. You know, and that road that runs right directly behind the levee from Hickory to Bailey, a lot of times they don't even water the thing. So sand is just gushing over the levee. The Harahan Police Department cannot keep patrolling the levee. The East Jefferson Levee District needs to just look. All they gotta do is look and make a phone call. And they could either call Wood, we could water the road, or maybe put some fines on him so that he would start getting conscientious about it, start figuring out how, some procedures to operate back there and not keep dumping on Harahan. He's taking advantage of Harahan too much, and we let him get away with it. So it's time to stop that. Whatever we gotta do, we gotta put fines on him, if we gotta bring this up, he has no retail license, somebody needs to go to jail. That'll wake him up. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Seems like every time I sit down, Jason Brusick, 7204 Stoneman. Seems like every single time I sit down and I listen to you all talk, something new pops up. I'm like, what the heck did they just say? Holy cow. So I'm going to direct some particular questions to Ms. Benton. You said federal law has been broken.
I didn't say that.
You just said that. I'd ask him to play it back if I was in court. I'd have it read back.
say
She didn't say it. I would say federal law as it pertains to withholding taxes and having to do things correct and retirement. There are federal and state laws.
I completely agree, there are. How does passing a budget affect the violation of laws? It's just a budget. It's just a budget. The budget itself has nothing to do with ERISA, which is what I think you're actually talking about. Has nothing to do with ERISA. Has nothing to do with violations of federal law. So that's one thing I wanted to know is which exact federal laws are you talking about?
That's why I know I didn't say that, because I have no idea. I didn't say that.
So my next question, or my next statement is, I've submitted a Freedom of Information Act request, a formal, written one, but I will also say that when people stand up here and ask the information, guess what, folks? You should be responding to it. But under Title 44:1, that's the Freedom of Information Act, I handed one in for you guys. I would like the documents I asked for with regards to the computer virus issue that occurred in, I believe, November 16th of 2016. I'm asking for all documents related to it, but I did accept out, I don't want computer code, I don't even want to know what your security protocols are or what the name of your security software is. I don't care about that. I want the letter from the FBI saying that nothing was affected, nothing was hacked, there's no breach of security, because my information is at risk. My information. And if a virus got onto a laptop that had a network connection to a Harahan server, that's a data breach. So I want all the documents you guys have on that, specifically looking for that FBI letter that you should have received by now. And you had asked Gilbert if you could give it to me. I'm okay with that. I understand why you asked, but Gilbert said put it in a request. My public request counted, but now it's formal and it's in front of you. So I'm asking for that. And you have a copy of that. And last but not least, I would like to know, you said that the mayor, I'm sorry.
It's his last statement. I'll give him motion one more minute.
Thank
I have a motion for 1 more minute by Councilman Johnson,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 1 nay. No, 5 yeas, no nays. Motion for 1 minute.
Thank you. You've said that the mayor has access to the emails. I would like to know if the mayor has actually accessed your emails. I want to know that. If she has access to it, or it's Gilbert's opinion, or whoever's opinion, that she has the right to review your personal correspondence, and I've already asked for what justification there is for that. I want to know if it's actually happened.
Mr. Brusick, just so that we can cut to the chase on this, the Louisiana Public Records Law, LRS 44:1, that's not the Freedom of Information Act, it's the Public Records Law. But it doesn't require the custodian of documents. That's all we have to turn over to you is documents. It doesn't require me to issue opinions or write anything, or for any other public official to write something to you. So when you file that public records request, that's the response you're going to get. I don't want you to leave the room thinking that something is going to come along that's going to be a legal opinion, okay?
I don't ask for that. I want the justification that you have given to these gentlemen, and this young lady, and that young lady, and this young lady.
Thank you.
Wait.
Tommy Buddy, 72008 Stoneleigh, and my goal, since budgets are such a big part of this discussion, is to come in under budget. We won't need any additional. I think Mr. Burris is talking about the Harahan Athletic Association lease of the property. I think Mr. Burris was dead on in his recommendation that the city require in the document that the Harahan Athletic Association get a general liability policy. Great advice. Naming the city as additionally assured with an indemnification clause to tie the insurance in to protect the city. And the suggestion I would make, and I know Mr. Chatelain said he's not opposed to doing it, instead of him going and getting a GL policy, I'd suggest the city give him some guidance on the amount of that policy. And I'm not going to even throw a number out there, but Mr. Chatelain's going to go out and get a policy. It'd be nice if he had some guidance in the next day or two to buy the policy that the city requires. The second thing is, I too thought I heard that the words illegal and laws broken in talking about the passing of the budget. I may have imagined I heard that. It is what it is. But there are no laws broken, none, when you pass a budget. If you don't pay your FICA taxes, then you're breaking the law. If you don't fund a defined benefit plan, then you're breaking the law. So in the budget process, there aren't any laws broken. And Mayor, one of the things I hear a lot, and I hear it from you, is reconciliation. And I really am happy to hear you say that. But then in the next sentence, you throw out these terms illegal and laws broken. And you can't ever reconcile when you accuse somebody in the next sentence of doing something that may be illegal. So I would ask you to hold those harsh comments back. To the extent you think it's appropriate, because it's just throwing gasoline on the fire. You guys can never get on the same page when you keep dredging up the past hurtful comments. You'll never reconcile. You might as well just say there's an election in about 2 years. Because that's where you are right now.
Yep.
And I don't think anybody up here is enjoying this. It's gotta be a terrible situation to be in, professionally and personally. And I can promise you, nobody out here is enjoying it, and the citizens aren't enjoying it, and we're not well served by it. And I don't know that there's a solution to your trust issues, but Mayor, I just heard you say that the actions this council took by majority vote were illegal and unlawful, or words to that effect. That's not a way to build trust. That's not a way to reconcile. And I hope you guys can get over that for the good of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Buddy.
Do I have a motion to close to address the council?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnson, seconded by
Second.
Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay. Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. To address the council is now closed. Secretary's report.
The city clerk left, she was feeling ill. The secretary's report for January 2017, the total revenue is $753,043.11. Reports.
Reports, Chief Walker.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. This is the stats for January 2017, Narragansett Police Department. We handled 662 calls for service. We had non-auto accidents we investigated. We issued 74 citations for 108 charges. We had non-patrol requests, had 13 narcotics arrests, 20 narcotic charges, 11 were felony, 4 misdemeanors, 5 cities. Other arrests were 75 for 144 charges, 10 felonies, 99 misdemeanors, 11 city, 24 traffic. Crimes, there was no murders, no rapes, no robberies, 1 residential burglary, 1 non-residential burglary, no attempted burglaries, no motor vehicle thefts, no attempted motor vehicle thefts, 16 larceny thefts, and 14 assaults. Again, as I've said before, starting next Monday, there's going to be construction work on Hickory between Dock and 9th, so kind of prepare for some traffic delays, I'm sure. We just got the notification from the Department of Transportation late this afternoon. So, have a safe and happy Mardi Gras. They starting sometime Monday morning. It's on our Facebook page. I don't know if the time was, I would assume early. Yeah. I would say 8 or 9 o'clock. Yes, sir.
Is there any alternate traffic routes, or are people gonna?
They didn't say anything. Like I said, the Department of Transportation just sent that out late this afternoon to us. I'll put it out on our Facebook page to alert the public, and then to alert the public tonight at the council meeting. Had no forewarning of this at all. I don't know if the mayor had any from the Department of Transportation. Around 9th Street to Dock. So it's going to north side of.
We won't even be able to use the temporary on Shelley Road.
On Hickory, yes, resurfacing. The way it read, I'm assuming, and I hate to assume anything, that they can do one side of the street at a time and still have traffic. I don't know how, because it's a heavy thoroughfare with tractor trailers and everything else. So, be forewarned.
No report.
I just wanted to tell everybody happy Mardi Gras, and I'm sorry I had to step away and take a recess for a second, but I got a call from my daughter. She's very gifted. She's 16 years old. She's the president of the junior class, straight A honor roll student, and tonight she was in a competition at UNO in a science fair, and she got first place, and she did a project on desalinization of water. So, taking salt water out of is just a hot topic. Turning salt water into fresh water is a hot world topic right now, and she's also been awarded a scholarship to Tulane for the entire summer, and they're going to have her interviewed by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The lady that comes up here, she always talks about pearls and Harahan, and we do, and you know, it's tough to come up here and just be badgered and accused, and a lot of us, we're not gonna take it no more, but we do have perils here, is my point. Just this week, I spent some time with a gentleman that lives here in Harahan that does business with Berkshire Hathaway. And if you don't know who that is, that's Warren Buffett's company. He's the third richest man, I believe, third or fourth richest man in the world right now. And that's what we have here in Harahan. And it's gonna be hard to keep people like that here, unless we decide to change and stop being attacked. And I can tell you this, I'm gonna get attacked by this mayor, and I'm gonna get attacked by that Harahan, Save Harahan. I'm gonna respond. But I do want to wish everybody a happy Mardi Gras and wish my baby girl and tell you thank you. I'm really so proud of you. Thank you.
So wonderful, Tim. Congratulations.
Do I get a report, Mayor? Do I get one? You skip me.
Oh, I was just calling out the names as they're listed.
I got you.
I'm
I got you, no
sorry.
problem.
But go ahead, Councilman
Oh,
Watson.
I don't really have a report. I just wanted to say have a happy and safe Mardi Gras. That's all.
Councilman Wheeler.
Same thing, the report, just have a happy and safe Mardi Gras.
Councilman Benton. Same thing.
I've been skipped by 5. You still mad at me, man? The mayor and I had a nice discussion at the last council meeting, and I would like to publicly apologize because I did drop that information on the mayor to her surprise. And out of all due respect, I really should have met with the mayor. And I do know as an employee of the city and as the fire chief that I really should have.
Hold on.
And,
Todd, you don't have a mic.
I don't think I need one.
No.
You get me? You get me? I need a mic. You do? It's not that good? Is that better? All right, good. But the mayor did call, and we had a nice long discussion the next day, and she did express her concerns for our condition with our equipment and our trucks, and would wish that we would move forward on trying to pursue and get the information to her and the council in regards to that truck, and we appreciate your support and backing us for that. Our report for the month of January 2017 is we had 9 medical assistance calls, 1 CPR. We had 2 fire alarms, 1 structure fire, 7 fire alarms. I'm sorry. I missed something. Give me 1 second. We had 2 vehicle accidents with injury. We had 1 investigation and 2 trash fires, and I think I just wrote 1 down twice. Yes. 9 medical assistants, 1 CPR, 7 fire alarms, 2 accidents, vehicle accidents with injury, 1 structure fire, 1 investigation, 2 grass fires or trash fires, for a total of 21 calls. And that's it. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to just address a few of the concerns by Mr. Brusick about, I believe, was it him about when the law and the budget meet? There are numerous laws about the budget, how budgets must be funded, how line items must be completely funded for a year, that specific things pertaining to properly and funding retirements, and that when you knowingly have information that is counter to what you're doing, that a professional is providing you information, you are obligated to seek the line item, the real expense of those line items. You cannot make up the expense to presume that it's something that it isn't. So the budget and the law meet quite often with many, many decisions about budgets and charters and line items and how the budgets are supposed to be expressed and et cetera. Courts or judges are very sensitive also about how courts are funded. There's an opinion, it went to appellate court in the state of Louisiana where the justices said that the court has to be funded with what it needs to operate. So there are many things. I'm not protesting. I do not want to be pretending to be a lawyer. That's why, or a CPA, that is why I go to the professionals, seek their advice, and seek their input. We will continue to work together. It does get uncomfortable, and there's a lot of repair in this city. When you come into a situation where there was no money and the budgets weren't prepared appropriately, et cetera, moving into this new realm has been a painful and difficult process. But I've said this at town hall meetings. This group that sits up here, in spite of it all, somehow, we've just about eradicated the deficit. We're waiting on those final numbers. Somehow, we refinanced a bond and saved money. Somehow, we paid off additional debt for a fire truck early. We paid off a bond early and paid off the fire truck. So let me correct that. So it's uncomfortable to watch sausage being made, but this group together has accomplishments under its belt. The Burger King, that eyesore is gone. We have more houses going up in the city of Harahan than we've ever had before in the last 6 years. We've been looking at the data, and I'm hoping to compile that to get that out. We have new businesses relocating here. We have great communities. We get people bragging on our police. We have the best time response to calls for service. We have great cooperation with Jefferson Parish and the Levy District to back up the police force. We have a passionate and wonderful fire department that somehow they meet the demands in spite of being in great need. So this council, this administration, the chiefs, department heads, we have accomplishments. It's been uncomfortable. It's getting better. But change is hard. That's all I can say about that. Pay the bills.
Bills for January 2017, the total expenditures were $529,906.41.
We are now going to go into executive session. We'll be in executive session recess.
I think the rest of us are gonna.
You want executive? You want executive session?
Oh, do I need a vote? Can I have a motion to go into
Motion.
executive session? I have a motion by Councilman Wheeler, seconded by Councilman Benton. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 4 yeas, 1 nay. We are moving into executive session. The council meeting is now resumed. We are complete executive session. Do I?
Still up?
He didn't do his job.
I wasn't supposed to press stop until the entire end of the meeting. I've just pressed record.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by? Second. Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. We are adjourned.
Y'all have a good evening. Have a good Mardi Gras. Yep, you too.